At 3-Day Blinds, we help you create that special place. And because we know you're busy, we bring the showroom to you at your convenience and provide a design expert to help you find the perfect solution that fits your style and budget. 3-Day Blinds. You'll love the treatment. Call or go online right now to schedule your free in-home design consultation.
Security cameras, guard dog. I'm prepared for anything.
Except us.
We're stealing homes.
We're criminals that steal home titles and turn your hard-earned equity into cash for ourselves.
Yeah, right. I'm protected.
That's what they all say. But by the time you realize your home equity's been stolen,
it'll be too late.
What is happening?
If you're saying, I'm already protected, your home may have already been stolen. Find out if you're already a victim today at HomeTitleLock.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
The premiums were getting unreasonable.
We just didn't need the coverage anymore.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
They call me cool, 'cause I got more glide in my stride and more dip in my hip. And I wear a mean dark pair of shades.
At the Farmer's Dog, our fresh food plans help old dogs feel young again. Get 50% off your first box, only at thefarmersdog.com.
Keep the adventure going
before the markets open. I'm planning my moves that I make throughout the day. When you're actively trading, the fees really start to add up, and that eats directly into your potential returns. I found that Public is really the only platform that offers rebates on your option trades, which help offset those costs. For me, when it comes to investing, timing is everything, and Public allows me to get a step ahead.
Introducing CNBC Plus.
You can stream Squawk Box.
Stream Squawk on the Street.
If you can't catch fast money in real time, watch us later on CNBC Plus.
Look at that. It's kind of good.
Start streaming at cnbc.com/plus.
New this morning, global investment firm Carlyle releasing a report on economic indicators based on its portfolio, which spans nearly 300 active companies, 700 real estate investments, and 730,000 employees worldwide. Joining us now, Jason Thomas, head of global research and investment strategy at Carlyle. Jason, great to have you on to kind of put a light on this data. So this is something, just to kind of get the procedural stuff out there. This is these indicators are something that you have maintained for a while, and you've tried to kind of knit them to the publicly available data?
Yeah, that's right. So for the last 15 years, we take portfolio company data, as you mentioned, 277 companies. They generate lots of monthly data, revenues, business volumes, order books, backlogs, prices paid, prices received, very often across many business lines. And we weight each of those time series based on their sensitivity to a macroeconomic variable of interest like GDP. So that weighting scheme allows us to really perfectly replicate the macroeconomic variable on a backward-looking basis and then achieve fairly high degree of forecast accuracy in real time and then over the next 3 to 6 months.
So let's get to what the latest, freshest numbers are telling us. I guess the headline would be, we didn't get a jobs report for September. What do your data indicate job growth was last month?
Yeah, I think what was most interesting about our monthly data in September was that payroll employment growth implied from the data was only 17,000. So very low. Typically, when you see jobs growth that low, particularly the deceleration observed over the course of 2025, entering the year, payroll employment growth was about 200,000 a month. You would think it was an economy on the cusp of recession or having already succumbed to recession. But that's completely inconsistent with the rest of the data we received, which of course implied GDP growth of 2.7% annualized rate through the end of September. So it's this really very interesting disconnect between what's implied about payroll employment growth and again, broader economic activity.
So you characterize it as a disconnect, which it would normally seem to be, but it also seems to match up perfectly with how the markets have been positioned, right? I mean, it seems as if the premise of where equities are, where rates are, is that the weakening job growth is giving clearance to the Federal Reserve to maybe bring interest rates down to some degree, but into an economy that seems to be growing firmly. So, I mean, are you able to project exactly how much momentum there is on that demand side, on the top line of the economy?
I think that there was a recovery that we saw really in the consumer. And I think a lot of people have focused on higher income consumers. And yes, there is, I would say, about 35% of households who have a mortgage that was originated before 2022. So they're hedged for interest rate risk. They haven't been affected by the higher rates. They're also asset owners. So they've participated, of course, in the equity market gains. But we did see through the credit portfolio about 150 basis point decline in delinquency rates for consumer loans among the bottom third of households by income. So there could actually be a broadening of consumption growth. And of course, you have to make mention of the AI boom. This is the largest concentrated CapEx boom in over 25 years. And what's so interesting about it is just how disconnected it is from the rest of the economy. That is to say that it's not affected at all by higher interest rates. It doesn't seem to be at all sensitized to the fluctuations we see in the rest of the economy. And, you know, people talk about dependence on this AI CapEx. I don't see it quite that way. In fact, in Q3, it looks like AI made a smaller relative contribution to overall GDP growth, even as, you know, the absolute contribution continues to grow. It looks like about 70 basis points to GDP growth annualized in Q3.
So, Jason, when you look at corporate investment and corporate spending, there was the expectation that the big, beautiful bill, which provided for bonus depreciation, immediate write-off, 100% of the value of capital expenditures. Do you see any impact from that so far in your companies beyond AI?
Again, I think that there's so much enthusiasm right now for AI. When you look at the construction sector, things look fairly bleak, except for, of course, data centers. There's no shortage of those being constructed today. So this, again, it's a theme when you talk to management teams. It's, of course, thinking about AI, the pressures to use it, the fears of falling behind competitors. So there's also, I think, signs of growing downstream revenues associated with AI use, which, of course, we should hope for, given the scale of capital spending and the need for all that capital spending to earn adequate returns going forward.
Yeah, all interesting. Jason, really appreciate you surfacing those numbers for us.
Well, you know, we're public-spiritedness is our credo here.
All right, we'll get it every month, I guess, then, right? Appreciate it.
All right, when we come back, China's economy getting an upgrade overnight. We've got the details right after this break. And we continue to monitor shares of IBM, which continue to rise after the company announced a partnership to integrate Anthropic's large language models into some of its software. That stock right now up by about 4.6%, Dow component. It is helping the Dow this morning. Squawk Box, we'll be right back.
A beast lurks between the numbers. Some watch from the safety of the sidelines, but others saddle up and ride that one-ton rowdy ribeye for all he's got. If that's you, join us on Tasty Trade, named best online broker for options trading. Genius loves company.
Now that I've reevaluated my benefits and savings with Voya, I'm feeling great. How's your retirement plan going?
Oh, I've been ignoring it and hoping for the best.
Come on, good retirement.
Don't just hope for a strong future, plan for one with Voya. Plan, invest, protect.
It's about political points.
It's terrible. Politics seeps into everything.
What do you mean? Talk about climate change or the economy or, of course, elections.
You can't find out what we should really expect to happen.
But of course you can.
Go to IBKR's Forecast Trader. Put your money where your mouth is.
Silver is at a 10-year high. Kootenai Silver boasts one of the largest resources owned by a junior company. With the new high-grade discovery in Mexico, the potential for growth and leverage to silver is significant. Kootenai Silver.
Welcome to the Now Way to Network. They switched to Juniper's AI native network. And now everyone's so productive, they're operating at a higher gear. That's the Now Way to Network at work, with real AI, putting you in the fast lane.
Best tailgates in Texas, you need the highest quality beef and HEB certified meat cutters like me.
And me. As experts in all things meat, we hand cut and grind fresh beef 7 days a week.
Need a custom order for game day? We'll make the cut.
We'll even tell you the best way to cook, season, and serve it up.
High quality beef and custom cuts. No one does tailgating like HEB. One more reason that?
At my HEB, here, everything's better.
Right now at the Rooms to Go Fall Mattress Sale, save big thanks to this very special mattress offer. Get a king-size mattress for the price of a queen mattress, starting at just $5.97. Choose from 3 great brands: Therapeutic, Beauty Rest, and Sealy Posturepedic. That's a king mattress for the price of a queen, starting at $5.97. Plus, check out our other great mattress buys, now at the Rooms to Go Fall Mattress Sale. Don't miss it.
Overnight, the World Bank raised its 2025 growth forecast for China. It expects China's economy to grow by 4.8%. That's up from its 4% forecast back in April. That new forecast is closer to China's official target of 5%. For 2026, the World Bank expects China's growth to ease to 4.2%, partly because of slower export growth and partly because of an expected easing of stimulus measures to try and keep public debt levels from rising too quickly.
All right, coming up, the Trump administration announcing leadership changes at the IRS. We're going to talk to former IRS Chief Danny Werfel up after the break. And later, Polymarket getting a major investment from Intercontinental Exchange. The CEOs are going to join us later this hour. First on CNBC, this will be a good one. Squawk Box. We'll be right back.
At PGIM, our ETFs use today's best ideas to help bring tomorrow's goals within reach. Our broad suite of over 50 low-cost ETFs is backed by 150 years of active management expertise. Explore PGIM ETFs today.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Light. It guides our every waking moment. What we do and how we do it. But the amount of light we need can change in an instant. And when it does, you can control it. 3-day blinds. Find the light for your life. Visit 3dayblinds.com to get started.
My world is in constant motion. The gym, the airport, the spotlight. I've learned that when I'm comfortable, I'm able to slow things down. The Ori DreamNet moves with me, stretches as I stretch, and keeps me steady through it all. So even though I'm always on the move, it's the comfort of DreamNet that keeps me grounded.
I never thought this would happen.
When disaster takes control of your life, we got you. Get it back with a single call to the team that shows up fast to make things right. ServPro, like it never even happened.
I know where I belong, and nothing's gonna happen, yeah. 'Cause she's so high above me. She's so lovely. She's so
At the Farmer's Dog, our fresh food plans keep dogs moving and shaking. Get 50% off your first box, only at thefarmersdog.com.
Thursday, live from Macau, Contessa Brewer takes us inside the world's largest gambling hub. And Friday, the return of the NBA to China after a 6-year timeout. Macau Gaming and the NBA. Special reports all day and streaming on CNBC+.
A growing number of officials in the Trump administration now holding more than one job, this time at the IRS. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will remain at the helm after serving as the IRS commissioner on a temporary basis, so he's going to stay there as IRS commissioner. Meantime, Social Security Administration Commissioner Frank Bisignano, he's also going to serve as a newly created role of CIO to the IRS. He's going to report to Bessent, so they don't really have a commissioner beyond Bessent who also will do lots of things, including being Treasury Secretary, managing all the trade talks, everything else. Joining us to discuss the implications for the agency, taxpayers, tax collection, all of it, Danny Werfel, the former IRS commissioner in the Biden administration. He's now an executive in residence at Johns Hopkins University's School of Government and Policy. Danny, it's great to see you again. So why do you think they structured this job this way? Why not create a new commissioner or appoint one?
Well, I think right now it's crunch time at the IRS. They have to get ready for filing season, which is coming up in January. And in the first 10 months of this administration, they've had 6 different leaders. There's no established deputy commissioner running the day-to-day operations. And that's a lot of volatility at the top of a very complex process and organization. And so steps needed to be taken now to make sure that there is no mistake in the readiness program that's underway at the IRS to get ready for January.
And, you know, we saw some concern back last spring, where there were talks about cutting the IRS staff from 100,000 to maybe 60,000. And there was concern, even some reports, that we were going to see an impact on revenue. In fact, since then, revenue has come in stronger than expected. So even though there's sort of changes at the top, doesn't the IRS function on its own pretty well without whoever is named at the top having the official position? Or do you think that we could see some actual disruption based on what you've seen so far going to next tax season?
Well, there's a lot in that question. Let me give you a window inside the IRS Commissioner's office. First of all, the IRS is largely a customer service organization. You have people waiting in line outside of walk-in centers to get help with their taxes. You have people waiting on the phone to get questions answered. You have people waiting for their owed credits or refunds, or they have some type of correspondence going on with the IRS, and any delay is just more stress for them. And inside the commissioner's office, what you're doing is you are solving problems. Sometimes those problems don't need to go all the way up to you. Sometimes they do. And what's absolutely important to make sure that all those operations are running smoothly is that there's clarity on who needs to solve what problems, and that you can get access to the right people. If you need to get access to the commissioner, you get access to the commissioner. And solving those problems can mean less wait times, less paper backlogs, and just better customer service. And so my concern right now is with the Treasury Secretary having a huge job just running the Treasury Department, how often is the IRS team going to be able to get to him to solve the many problems that will emerge in the coming months? I think it's really important for the SSA commissioner coming in to establish the issues that he will decide versus Mr. Bessent. And they also need to make sure that people have access to them at the IRS. Otherwise, if they can't get access for those decisions to be made and they're waiting around for problems to be solved, it's the taxpayers waiting in line that will pay the price.
Yeah, and it's politically popular for people to slam the IRS because nobody likes the IRS. But it is important that someone efficiently and effectively collects revenue. Do you have any concern based on what you're seeing and hearing from the IRS, your former colleagues right now, that we will start to see any kind of revenue impact going forward, whether it's this year or next year?
I actually think it's already started. And going back to your earlier comment that receipts are up, you know, what happens is as the economy grows, receipts tend to go up by definition, but that doesn't mean you're collecting all that is actually owed. Every year, the tax gap, as we call it, the difference between what is owed and what is paid is $700 billion a year. And it takes a while to measure what that is annually. But as you deteriorate the ability of the IRS to collect or enforce tax laws, then that number is just going to go up. And what I like to tell people is a smaller IRS, a less effective IRS, a messy IRS will not mean lower taxes for you. Only Congress decides whether your taxes are higher or lower. A more messy IRS means two things. It means less customer service for you, meaning potentially more stress if you need to reach the IRS. And it means that those who choose not to play by the rules will end up, shifting the burden of funding this government from them to you if you're going to play by the rules. So I always say, look, it's not popular. Being at the IRS, you know it's not a popular job, but it is essential to have a functioning tax authority and tax system for a high-performing government and a high-performing nation like the United States.
Danny, you mentioned obviously crunch time. January, I imagine, in any year is going to be busy. But what about when we now have this very large new tax bill that was just passed in the summer, and you have a lot of the rules that are going to have to be rewritten and recoded? What's that process like? Is it kind of automatic, or is that an extra lift?
It is not automatic at all. Like every day during the fall is essential to make adjustments to systems. They need to be reprogrammed for all the tax law changes. And as you mentioned, even though the Internal Revenue Code changes each year, this year it changed massively with the passage of the Big Beautiful Bill Act. You're running new systems, new system checks, you're changing forms, you're updating guidance. All of it to get ready for what I like to sometimes refer to as opening night on Broadway in January when tax filing season begins. And every minute and hour across the fall and into the early winter is absolutely essential. So not only do you have big changes in the tax code based on this new bill that was passed, we're also in the middle of a government shutdown. And that can be disruptive as well, as we all know. And,
yeah, so what is that?
And with, yeah.
What does that mean? So I read that basically beyond 5 days of a shutdown, it starts to affect the IRS. Are there going to be people collecting taxes, especially as we get to this October 15th extension deadline, which for many high earners is really their tax deadline?
Yeah, look, a government shutdown is always disruptive, right? First of all, you just have the stress of it, and you have people planning for it. Right now, there are people at the IRS figuring out what to do on day 5, day 6, day 7 of the shutdown, figuring out who's going to be furloughed, how operations will be adjusted to accommodate. All of that time spent, all of that bandwidth means they're not doing their day job, which is to make sure that we have a functioning tax system. And again, it means making sure that your phone call is answered if you have a problem or an issue with the IRS. So every day in the fall is absolutely critical. And right now, because you have these extra things on the plate of a new large bill and a government shutdown, it'll be really important that when this new CEO, and this is a new role, it's never existed before, so there'll be an immediate need to clarify right when Mr. Bisignano gets there, what is my role? What is my role compared to the deputy commissioner role? What is my role compared to the secretary's role? Which are the problems or issues that I'm going to decide, which versus those that will go to the secretary? All of that, and I've heard very good things about the SSA commissioner in terms of his capabilities and his experience.
The IRS needs better technology, and he's an expert at that.
Yeah, I mean, there's reason for optimism with someone of his credentials coming in to help run things. I just would urge that soon as he gets there, he clarifies what the process is to reach him, to reach the secretary, so that if there is a problem on the front line, sometimes I refer to the IRS as a train system. Trains break down on the train system. You have people waiting on the platform. Sometimes it requires a commissioner-level decision to get that train running again, and you don't want people waiting around wondering, who do I bring this problem to? And that'll be an important thing to clarify early on.
All right, Danny, as always, we appreciate your time, your expertise. Good to see you. Thanks so much. Still got to pay your taxes, even when the government's shut down. Remember that.
No rest for the weary. All right, it is 8 a.m. on the East Coast, and you're watching Squawk Box right here on CNBC. I'm Becky Quick, along with Mike Santoli and Robert Frank. Among our top stories this morning, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirming the authenticity of a draft White House memo that says furloughed federal workers are not entitled to back pay after the government shutdown. That memo was first reported by Axios. The government shutdown now in day 7. The Senate rejecting dueling measures yesterday. Meantime, the FAA reporting staffing issues are causing delays at several airports around the country. We'll be speaking to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy about this in just a little bit. In other Washington news, the White House preparing a relief package for farmers. That announcement could come as early as today. U.S. farmers are facing pressure from a record corn harvest and China's reduced soybean purchases. Reuters notes that the shutdown could delay aid distribution. And a late-night fire destroying part of an aluminum plant in New York that supplies automakers with aluminum. Novelis provides about 40% of the U.S. auto aluminum sheets. It says that the plant will not be fully operational until next year. Apparently, Ford is the manufacturer that uses the most from this. The Wall Street Journal says that Ford is the plant's biggest customer and is expected to warn investors about possible impacts when it reports later this month.
All right, let's check the futures. Kind of a little bit up this morning, kind of flat. Treasuries, take a look at the 10-year. 10-year still hovering around 4.171. 2-year at 3.6. Let's get to Dom Chu with a take a look at this morning's pre-market movers. Don.
All right, good morning, Robert. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Becky. We're going to start things off with shares of AMD continuing to climb this morning, just to the tune of about maybe 4% after yesterday's 24% pop. Now, AMD and OpenAI announced that big deal that could give OpenAI a 10% stake in the chip maker. It's a sign that OpenAI doesn't want to be dependent on just one supplier, like, say, an NVIDIA. Other chip makers like Intel, like NVIDIA, Micron, Broadcom also moving to the upside this morning, so we'll keep an eye on the entire chip complex on the heels of AMD and OpenAI. Moving on to shares of Tesla, just slipping by about 0.5% or so, despite reports that the EV maker will unveil a cheaper version of its Model Y later on today. Those reports say that the more affordable model is a bid to reverse some of those declining sales trends it's seen. The stock was climbing yesterday after Tesla posted a teaser video on X that ended just with the date 10/7 today. So those shares are up about 11% so far this year. And we'll finish off with shares of Netflix climbing just about 1% or so after Seaport Securities upgraded the streaming service to a buy from a neutral. Seaport also put a price target of $13.85 on it, implying an upside of around 19% from yesterday's close. The analysts there are citing things like positive momentum for its ad-driven monetization strategies, also leadership in driving viewer engagement. Those shares are up about 31% so far this year. Now, for more on that and other top analyst calls of the day, just head over to cnbc.com/pro, where subscribers get all the context and detail around some of those notable upgrades and downgrades. Robert, I'll send things back over to you guys.
All right, Dom, thank you.
Sure.
All right, coming up, major U.S. retailers looking to kickstart the holiday shopping season, holding sales events to coincide with Amazon's Prime Big Deal Days. We have a closer look in the next hour. But first, air traffic controllers working without pay during the government shutdown, sparking more concerns about staffing shortages and travel delays. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will join us next. Box will be right back.
Asking the right question can greatly impact your future.
Are you really a licensed electrician?
Trust, especially when it comes to your finances.
Are you a certified financial planner?
I'm a CFP professional. CFP professionals are committed to acting in your best interest. That's why it's gotta be a CFP.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
For many of my clients, selling their life insurance to Abacus was right for them and their estate plan.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Gold delivers when markets don't. G Mining Ventures operates Brazil's newest producing gold mine with proven reserves and cash flow. Now they've expanded to Guyana to repeat their success. G Mining Ventures, creating value through responsible mining.
Silver is at a 10-year high. Kootenai Silver boasts one of the largest resources owned by a junior company. With the new high-grade discovery in Mexico, the potential for growth and leverage to silver is significant. Kootenai Silver.
When I started Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses, I needed a website. And GoDaddy Aero uses AI to make a beautiful website so fast it'll blow my customers' noggins while they're shopping for Goggins for their noggins.
December 11th, join Melissa Lee and the team of traders in New York City for an all-access celebration, live and on air. Fast Money Live, trading the holidays. Get your tickets now at cnbcevents.com/fastmoney.
The first phone call. Most of the time, you're going to talk to Jean Burkett, a 30-year partner.
Order submitted.
You're not going to talk to some employee that just got put on the phones that day.
There are things that are so crucial, especially if it's a cataclysmic event, to have our experts get out and look at the vehicle, witness statements, photos, the whole thing.
Call Frankel first.
Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frankel first.
Space that adapts. Clarity that keeps you focused. And style that grabs hold. Welcome to the Genesis GV80. Get the GV80 for 2.99% APR for 60 months. Exclusively at your DFW Genesis retailer.
New Jersey's Newark Airport might already be feeling the impact of the government shutdown. As concerns grow over not receiving their paychecks, air traffic controllers have been calling out from time to time, delaying air travel control. There have been questions about TSA and whether those workers will continue to show up. But joining us right now is Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He was at Newark Airport yesterday, and he spoke to the air traffic controllers there. I guess Newark is just one of so many places around the country where you're starting to feel this. What did you hear at Newark Airport when you were there?
So the controllers are stressed out, right? So they work overtime. They work 6 days a week, tough jobs. They're working on equipment that is sometimes 20, 30, 50 years old. And so they're concerned, they're family people, right? They've got houses, mortgages, car payments. They have to put food on the table. They're concerned they may not get a paycheck, right? They'll eventually be paid, but the shutdown is forcing them to work without the guarantee that their paychecks come in a timely manner. So
Actually,
they're
there
stressed.
is a question about that now. We were just confirming from the White House that this memo that was leaked earlier about whether or not they'll actually be paid is true. I think there are considerations at the White House to say if you are furloughed, you will not eventually receive back pay like has been processed in the past.
So, but if you're furloughed, you don't come to work, you don't get paid. But those who do come to work that are critical safety positions, I think they will get paid for the services that they provided to the country. So they will get paid. But a lot of them are saying we might have to think about working 6 days a week and then going to drive Uber so we can get some dollars into our coffers to make sure we can put food on the table.
What kind of pressure can you bring to try and clear things up more quickly? I mean, you're seeing on the front lines the pain that this causes.
So listen, it's my job to tell the controllers to show up for work. That is your job. You're eventually going to be paid. However, I have to advocate for them as well to say, listen, this is the reality of America. They are under pressure. They provide great services to us. And by the way, when your plane's delayed or you're canceled, they're the ones that are making sure that you don't fly when it's not safe. They're the ones that make sure we get to where we're going. And so I'm going to advocate for them. Again, let's open up the government. There's the conversations and the fights that are happening are about issues allegedly that are going to come to fruition at the end of the year. Open up the government, take the months to have a conversation and negotiate, but let's not use this as leverage with hardworking Americans that keep our sky safe for political benefit.
Are issues popping up in terms of staffing shortages at various places that you've seen during the shutdown?
So what we're seeing is I'm not seeing one location consistently controllers not coming into work. What I am seeing is a small blip in one facility, and then that gets resolved, and you'll see it pop up somewhere else. So it's not one facility consistently not having controllers come in, but we are seeing issues in the system. And again, you saw yesterday in Burbank multiple hour delays because we didn't have enough controllers to control that airspace.
Do you think it's a union action? You think this is just frustrated employees or people who are actually sick?
No, so the union was with me yesterday.
Yeah, they've advocated
Listen,
not doing
it's the union's job to make the case for their union members. They're great partners. I'm helping make the case for them as well. So no, this is not a union action. Now, could you see in Burbank yesterday that everyone did a sick out? Possibly. I don't have that evidence right now, but it's not led by the national union. They're trying to advocate for the controllers to end the shutdown and get pay coming to the people that provide the services to the skies.
Secretary Duffy, the shutdown is just exacerbating a situation that's been pretty untenable for quite a while, where we just don't have enough air traffic controllers.
So we're over 2,000 short right now. We don't have enough controllers, so a lot of our controllers work overtime. But what I've done is I've supercharged people coming into the business. Right, they make good money, 180 at the first end. At the back end, in some areas like New York, you can make up to $400,000 a year with overtime. And so we've increased the throughput of the academy by 20%. We've decreased the time frame in which it takes to get a young person that wants to be a controller actually into the academy. It was taking over 2 years for a young person to apply to the academy, to get into the academy. Well, if you're 23 years old, you're not going to wait around for 2 years to wait for your slot. You're going to go find another job. So we've decreased that time frame, and we're getting the best and the brightest in. So, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time to get.
Are we talking?
We're talking years. And so again, we've in the first phase of this, we're 20% up in controllers. We want to improve that next year.
It's going
one of the problems with the shutdown, though, is getting them through the academy. They go to towers or Tracons or centers, and they have to get trained up. And the support staff that's there to train the new controllers to get them certified,
Good morning,
we're having issues with the funding to keep those people employed. So it has a ripple effect at a time when we're trying to make up this 2,000 controller deficit. We don't have the staff in place to actually make sure these young people are getting trained into their.
This is one of those areas that really upset voters when you start to see delays, or you even start to see concerns about safety as a result of the shutdown. When I was looking back at the 2019 shutdown in the first Trump administration, the event that caused that shutdown to end was the delays in air traffic and people's flights. What are you hearing from airlines? Are you starting to hear any complaints on the passenger side? What do you think it would take for that piece of it to be the catalyst that ends the shutdown?
So my phone is the dumping zone for everyone I know to tell me that they're delayed or canceled.
You guys are so lucky that you don't.
Listen, I don't want to see our air travel as a leverage point in this. I do think you need members of Congress to come together and figure out a path forward. And again, sometimes...
What are you hearing from airlines right now? What are they telling you?
They're navigating, right? So we haven't had significant outages. They can manage these issues. They manage weather. They manage staffing delays with air traffic controllers. They know how to do it, right? And they are doing it, and they make up the difference. But also, which is why airlines and air traffic controllers, we've had 63 different organizations that don't sit together to come and say, we need to revamp our whole air traffic control system. We need $31 billion. I got $12.5 billion. But we need the rest of the money. So I want Congress to actually come. And by the way, a lot of partisanship in D.C., not partisanship in regard to this issue. They're going to find us the money.
You spoke yesterday about the controllers being distracted by all these pressures that the shutdown is causing. And at least for me, there was a concern there underneath it that perhaps there was a safety issue. Are you worried that maybe you raised a safety issue when you really shouldn't be raising a safety issue, or was that intentional?
So it's my job to talk about what they tell me, right? And what you want, if they had a fight with their spouse, they have to leave that when they come into the tower.
Yeah.
But they're being really honest to go, we're concerned our paychecks come a week from today. If those paychecks don't show up, how are we going to navigate that as heads of households? And again, they're human beings, right?
Yeah.
They're just like everybody else. They're working men and women. And so I'm not trying to raise safety flags. I'm not trying to be Chicken Little here. But I am saying, hey, we're seeing issues in the system. Let's resolve it. And again, these are professionals. If there's issues in any of these centers or towers, we slow down traffic, right? Or we'll stop traffic. It's our job first and foremost to make sure you get to where you're going safely. And again, I don't want you delayed. I don't want you canceled, but I want you to get to where you're going to go safely. And that's why you'll see in Burbank, we had a major slowdown because we couldn't do it safely. And that has to be always the key, is making sure people are safely traveling through the air.
Sean, we've talked about this before, but why did it get to this position where we were 2,000 air traffic controllers short? That just seems like something somebody should have noticed along the way, something should have been done earlier.
So we've been short for over a decade. Yeah. COVID had an impact. I don't think there was a quick enough response to getting young people into the academy. Listen, these are hard issues. Again, whether it's air traffic controllers or dealing with modernizing our airspace, they're hard issues that I think a lot of people said, I'm willing to pass it off to the next secretary. And we're not going to pass it off. We're going to do our jobs and be honest with the American people and make sure we fix the problems that exist. I'm not going to pass it off. It's my job to actually lean in and deal with tough problems.
You said you were confident you'd get the money that's necessary, so the extra 18, 19 billion you think is coming at what point in the process is that?
So I'm hopeful at the end of this year or the start of next year. So I got the 12.5 billion. We're using copper, not fiber. We have to redo our whole network. We need new radar. But what's key is the software that manages the airspace is kind of like we're running Windows 95 or Windows XP. That's the genre of software we use for air traffic control. We need a new software system. That has to be developed, that has to be debugged, and then that has to be deployed. So that's going to take us time. And the sooner I get the money, the faster we can go. So in the interim, there's new technology that we can lay over the old software and get improvements to the airspace. But more people fly right now, which is great. We have these eVTOLs, the Ubers in the air that are going to come online, that are going to complicate the airspace. We have drones and drone deliveries that are coming online. So the airspace isn't getting less complicated or less used. It's going to become more complicated. So I'm going to need, again, more controllers, and I need better equipment for controllers to control the airspace.
Everything you just said sounds like it's a pretty bipartisan approach to how things should be fixed. It seems like a common sense proposal on all of these fronts. Last week, the Trump administration said that it was going to withhold funding for transportation projects in New York City and other areas, other blue cities, because of concerns about how the contracts are being awarded.
Order filled.
Is that a partisan fight that slows down much-needed transportation spending?
So in New York here, you have
Order submitted.
Subway, you have the Gateway Project, massive tunnel. These are the largest projects in the Western Hemisphere. They're massive. And we have constitutional rules on disadvantaged businesses and how you give that money out. You can't base it on race and sex. You have to base it on the size of a business. Are they truly disadvantaged? And in New York, they'll use race and sex more so than they will the size of the business. And so they've known this for months. I've told everybody that I want them to follow the law. So this is not a surprise. And as we said, we're going to review these projects. That happens through a civil rights division at DOT. Well, they've all been furloughed. So, but to be clear, in the president's budget, he funded those two projects. I know New York may not give him the respect he deserves, but he loves New York. So not only were these two projects in his budget, we're working on Penn Station right now. I mean, a massive revamp to rebuild Penn Station, not just the tracks, but the facilities as well. Again, President Trump's leading that because he cares about the city.
How long do you think these reviews would take if the government were reopened and if the staff was back in place?
I would say 10 days to 2 weeks, we can review the contracts so they can happen pretty quickly.
So they could be back up and running
Listen, we're not trying to stop the projects in New York or the projects in Chicago, but it is my job to make sure that we're following the law when we give federal taxpayer money to communities. You can't use that for race and sex-based purposes. We truly do it on the size of a business. And by the way, it's a good thing. We want to make sure that small businesses have a shot at competing for these big projects. It's a good policy, but you can't do it based on race and sex. We stopped that a long time ago using racial and sexual preferences.
Secretary Duffy, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, up next, major U.S. retailers looking to kickstart the holiday shopping season. We'll talk about the retail landscape after the break. And later, the Intercontinental Exchange announcing a strategic investment in Polymarket. ICE CEO Jeff Sprecher and Polymarket CEO Shane Copeland will join us in just a little bit. As we head to a break, a look at crypto prices this morning. Bitcoin backing off just a bit. We'll be right back.
In a world of conformity, it's often the innovative that stand out. At FlexJet, we've built a state-of-the-art operations control center with an international fleet of private jets and helicopters. Our Red Label crews are leading the way in pilot compensation, all supported by one of the world's largest maintenance networks. This is our timeless dedication to you. That's why we're outgrowing the competition 2-1. At FlexJet, you won't just be flown, you'll be moved.
Did you know that your life insurance policy is an asset that you can sell? Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. I'm the CEO of Abacus Life, and for almost 20 years, we've been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. In fact, you can use the free policy value calculator at abacuspays.com, and in just seconds, you can learn what your policy might be worth. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Searching for the perfect underwear? Tommy John combines innovation and excellence in every pair. Available in multi-packs, Tommy John's breathable second skin underwear is even softer than cotton, with up to 4 times the stretch of competing brands. We've also crafted indulgently soft second skin sleepwear for luxurious evenings and mornings. Invest in your comfort worry-free. If you don't love your first purchase, we'll make it right, because if you dress to the nines, your underwear should be a 10. Go to TommyJohn.com now for 20% off your first order.
Crypto staking just hit Wall Street. For the first time ever, staking rewards are available through a U.S.-listed ETF. Introducing SSK, the Rex Osprey Sol plus staking ETF. Solana exposure with staking rewards built in. Convenient, cost-effective. Solana, staked on your behalf. All through a simple ETF. SSK from Rex Osprey. Not suitable for all investors. Investors should carefully review the fund's prospectus for objectives, risk, charges, and expenses. Visit rexshares.com to obtain it and read carefully before investing. Distributed by Foresight Fund Services.
Light. It guides our every waking moment. What we do and how we do it. But the amount of light we need can change in an instant. And when it does, you can control it. 3-day blinds. Find the light for your life. Visit 3dayblinds.com to get started.
Start streaming. Go to cnbc.com/plus now.
Thank you for celebrating this anniversary with us.
You know, we talked about AI. Is that a gold rush, a sugar rush?
Everyone's focused on it. Everyone's spending.
Do you think that there is a bias against a company with a lot of Bitcoin in holdings?
Every quarter, we make new believers.
Nothing going on where you go, whoa. Is it none of this retribution?
Let's let the process play out.
The great part about live TV is you get to see the answer.
Celebrating 30 years of Squawk Box and streaming on CNBC Plus.
It's been a little more than 6 months since President Trump announced the so-called reciprocal tariffs on the imports from more than 80 countries, with Prime Day and competing retail events underway. As a precursor to the holiday spending season, prices have never been more in focus. Courtney Reagan joins us with a look at the choices retailers need to make and the prices that we all might pay for this holidays. Hopefully they're going to be lower, Court?
We'll see. Kind of depends on what you get. I mean, since April 2nd, trade deals, of course, you know, have been negotiated with lower rates for some countries, though India tariffs are higher than initially announced. China remains in flux, and then other types of tariffs, like on upholstered furniture, for example, those have also been levied. So while the announcement initially rocked the sector, many large retailers have been able to mitigate much of the tariff costs. Levi, Ulta, Victoria's Secret, Tapestry, all up their share prices between 48 and 58% since April 2nd. Kohl's, Five Below, Elf Beauty, Wayfair, those are all up between 99 and 164% since April 2nd. Now, for the portion of tariff costs that can't be mitigated, retailers are basically making a choice. Pass along that tariff in the form of higher prices or eat it to grow or maintain share, but at the expense of profitability. So Urban Outfitters, Gap, Nike, they're all using what we call the portfolio approach to pricing. So they're holding some prices where shoppers are maybe more sensitive, but then increasing prices on products where consumers are willing to pay more for them. In their most recently reported quarters, Walmart, Five Below, Dollar General, and RH all reported margins lower than their respective average margins for that quarter the last 3 years, suggesting those are not among the retailers passing on as much of those costs and pricing. While tariffs have been largely well managed in the last 6 months, there is worry for the rest of the year. Retailers including RH, Macy's, VF Corp, and Walmart have all warned to some degree that the negative tariff pressure will likely increase as the year plays out. On its earnings call, RH CEO Gary Friedman said, quote, "Everybody's got to take pricing and your margins are going to get killed." And Macy's CEO Tony Spring recently said his fall forecast is more prudent than earlier this year, but he hopes to, quote, "prove myself wrong."
How much is, when you talk about tariffs being mitigated, is that just a euphemism for transshipping? I mean, people basically shipping through Vietnam, Malaysia, all these other countries.
You know what they make?
It's like these tariffs have disappeared because we're not really seeing them on the price front. We're not really seeing them in the margins on the retail side. And we don't know what's happening in the countries themselves and some of its currency impacts.
Yep.
But how much is disappearing, do you think, through transshipment?
There are so many different factors. I think there's some portion of that. But a lot of retailers have said, look, we're changing up the factories. We're negotiating with those vendors on the ground. Maybe we're changing the product a little bit. Maybe we're not ordering as much of the product before. Maybe, we're going to have this product made here and now this product made here because the tariff rates, yes, they're there, but they're lower. So there's been an awful lot of things that have been going on. And, behind the scenes, retailers may give you some examples so that you understand that. So we know it's not all transshipping, but they don't want to really share it publicly because, to be fair, supply chain is among one of the biggest competitive advantages for retailers. And it's been something no one's ever wanted to talk about until they were really forced to, say, 2016 and on.
I mean, the money's being collected, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so the government has certain, revenue levels there. And so in terms of like how it's all getting phased in, right? We've had these delays. Is next year going to look clean? I mean, can we at least say that on a year-over-year basis?
I think that's a really good point. I think the end of this year and maybe the first quarter could still look a little messy.
Yeah.
And then I think it evens out a little bit after that. So I think if we'll see more pain, it's going to be in the coming 2 quarters, maybe 2.5 quarters. And so some retailers did try to pull some of that inventory forward, but that's not without financial impact too, right? They've got to carry it somewhere as far as a cost perspective. And so some did that to a degree, but when you look at inventories, they weren't really markedly higher than the 3-year average, which I was somewhat surprised about because we ran that as well. In some cases, maybe yes, in some cases, no. So I do think it gets cleaner as we go forward. But we've had retailers at least soft warning, like, it looks okay now, but, we can't promise it's going to stay like that for the next 2 quarters.
All right, we're going to talk about which names people should invest in, which ones they should maybe avoid. Courtney, stick around. Joining us with more on the retail landscape, Jan Kniffen, J. Rogers Kniffen Worldwide CEO. Jan, it's great to see you. So following up on Courtney's point there, how do you see these brands, these retailers managing tariffs right now? And do you think that's going to change going into the holiday season? What should consumers expect in terms of pricing, in terms of inventory selection?
I think Courtney pretty well nailed it. We don't really see a lot getting passed through right this moment. Maybe 40, maybe 50% of what the tariff is gets passed through. But if the average tariff is running 12, 13%, that's on cost, that's not on sales. And so maybe you only have to pass through 4%, and if only half of it gets passed through, you're looking at a couple of percentage points of increase in sales price. And that's kind of what we're seeing out there. And on any given year, you can always see that kind of number. And remember, they can spread this around in the retail world. If you're carrying 250,000 items, let's say, and 100,000 of them are impacted by the tariff, and you spread the tariff over all 250,000, and it was going to be 2% on the ones you had to pass it through on, maybe you're looking at 1%. So there's a lot they're doing there. And remember, too, the supply chain costs have actually fallen versus last year. The price of a container and the cost to ship the container. So that's a little piece you can work with as well. So it's not just what the factory absorbing, it's what's the supply chain absorbing, it's what the retailer's absorbing, and it's really what the level of the cost really is. And as you said, we do see some, I'm not going to call it cheating, but transshipping goes on out there where a product moves one place to another and maybe avoids part of the tariff.
Canceled.
And so you'll see all of that happening because retailers are pretty smart. They do this every year. We've been dealing with tariffs and quotas since I got in the business. That's not new. Just the levels and where they're being hit right now is new. So we know how to do this.
Jan, it's Courtney, and not that you've been in the business for a long time or anything. You're a very young man, so I don't know what you're talking about, but I understand tariffs have been around since the 1930s, well before you. But I am wondering what you think about prices when it comes to the holiday season, because it's always promotional. That's the name of the game, quite literally. So how are retailers going to manage this? I mean, how does that sort of add a wrinkle to how they're figuring this all out?
Well, you were right. Some stuff did come in early, but you didn't see it in inventory levels because every bonded warehouse in the country is full. That doesn't show up in the inventory levels. So we're seeing some of those, I won't call them games, but some of those strategies being played. And so we do have the product in the country. Some of it, as you said, came in early. That's not free, but it's not a big deal, especially when you're getting deals from the factory and you're getting deals on the supply chain. I just don't think you're going to see it. We're seeing inflation in services higher than goods, and we have been for a while. That's not going to be different in the fourth quarter. We're still going to see services inflating faster than goods. When that happens, the consumer looks at the goods pricing and says, this is not so bad. And if we're really only talking about a couple of percentage points, that's almost impossible to see if you're the consumer. And that's all I think we're talking about. So I am not concerned about that part of holiday. I'm more concerned about the ability to spend. I actually think we're still really solid. I think the consumer can spend. I think they've got a job. I don't think we've seen all of that change yet. But if I was going to worry, I'd worry about that side of the equation, not so much the tariffs. We've already figured the tariffs out. I don't think they're going to be a big deal into next year at all. And they weren't a very big deal this year. And I don't think they will be in the fourth quarter.
All right, Jan, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Certainly investors shrugging a lot of this off if you look at those share prices of the retailers. Thanks so much for joining us. Good to see you.
You too.
All right, we have a market alert on Dell. The company raising its long-term guidance ahead of its analyst meeting this morning. Dell now expects annual revenue growth of 7 to 9%. That's up from 3 to 4% previously. And non-GAAP earnings growth of at least 15%, up from at least 8% previously. Dell is also extending its commitment to grow its quarterly dividend by 10% or more annually. That's through fiscal 2030. CEO Michael Dell will be speaking to John Fort on Closing Bell Overtime today at about 4 p.m. Eastern.
That'll be good. I'm going to watch that. Still to come, the shutdown market highs and no data. Should investors be concerned that the current economic market conditions will take a Fed rate cut off the table this month? We're going to hear from market strategist Mary Ann Bartles. Swap Box. Be right back.
We're looking for a house closer to everything, but we don't know where to start.
Find it with Realtor.com. With Real Commute, it's easy to find a home closer to what's ever close to your heart. Do y'all recycle? Realtor.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
The premiums were getting unreasonable.
We just didn't need the coverage anymore.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can simply arrive or make an entrance. Stick to the agenda or experience something unexpected. With IHG's 20 hotel brands, you can guest how you guessed.
Overtime's about understanding what just happened in the markets that day and preparing for tomorrow. I'm looking to talk to sophisticated investors, beginning investors. I'm always learning.
Closing Bell Overtime, weekdays 4 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
That's your problem. You need to find a solution.
I spoke with the sales team, and their main insight is that they're seeing figures that are increasing when we highlight product benefits.
I agree on that angle. I have a few ideas.
Nuance Audio is the new invisible hearing solution built into your glasses. Hear what you see comfortably with open ear speakers. Nuance Audio, in tune with life.
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The Ovi goals, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Let's get to Andrew. He is on assignment today, but he's joining us with some big news this morning. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, and you know the news because new this morning, the Intercontinental Exchange announcing a huge strategic investment in Polymarket. Now, as part of that deal, Intercontinental Exchange will invest up to $2 billion in the prediction market platform. The exchange is also going to become a global distributor of Polymarket's data. And coming up after the break, we are going to speak with Intercontinental Exchange CEO Jeff Spreckler and Polymarket CEO Shane Copland in an exclusive interview. All that coming up right after this.
Seabeth, your company started in the kitchen.
Hello?
Now it has 3. Your team of 5 grew to an army of 500. And that's your logo, right there in marble.
That's big.
To grow your business from big to bigger, you need an advisor built for the middle market. Our data shows that this deal works.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Accounting, advisory, insurance, and more. CBIZ, insights that impact.
Only the ServiceNow platform connects every corner of your business, putting AI agents to work for people.
Like secret agents?
No, more like autonomous minions that you control.
To do what?
Well, Jim's agents resolve simple customer issues, and Patty's agents flag network problems.
Proactively?
Yep.
I'm loving my agents. Wait, do you all have agents?
Oh, yeah. And on the ServiceNow platform, everyone's agents work together, so everything works better.
Could I have agents?
Maybe.
When you're actively trading, the fees really start to add up. Public is the only platform that offers rebates on your option trades, which help offset those costs. It's a simple way to help me keep more of what I earn.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspays.com to learn what your policy might be worth.
For many of my clients, selling their life insurance to Abacus was right for them and their estate plan.
Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspays.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Shopify's point-of-sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. With fast and secure payment, card readers you can rely on, and one place to manage it all. Whatever the stage, businesses that grow with Shopify.
I can't wait to see their faces when we go out.
Order submitted.
What seems to be the problem, soldier?
Order canceled.
Belly, sir. It's full of Greeks.
Sneaky cowards.
Innovation changes everything.
Order filled.
With one investment, you can access
Order
the Nasdaq
submitted.
100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. New this morning, the Intercontinental Exchange and Polymarket announcing a huge new deal. It's a strategic partnership. The financial services giant investing $2 billion in Polymarket. It's maybe old money meets new money. Joining us right now in an exclusive interview is Polymarket founder and CEO Shane Copeland and ICE founder and CEO Jeff Sprecher. It's great to see both of you this morning. It's a fascinating deal, and really, as I said, it's sort of old money, new money. It's all coming together here. Why don't we go back in time just for a second, and maybe Jeffrey, you can explain how you thought about or how this whole thing came about.
Order filled.
That's an interesting topic. Shane was falsely accused of wrongdoing and was raided by the FBI. And,
Order submitted.
A mutual friend of the three of us, actually, Tom Farley, called me up and said, "You should reach out to Shane. He's a great guy. He's building something revolutionary, and I think he could use your help." Because a few years earlier, I was falsely accused of something and was raided by the FBI. And I thought about it, and I said, you know, I don't really know this guy. I don't really want to get involved. But that weighed on me. And ultimately, when Shane was exonerated, I picked up the phone and said, I have something in common with you, and I'd love to sit down and talk about whether or not we could compare notes. And much as your introduction said, I mean, just look at us, right? I'm old and bald. He's young and mop-headed. I have a closet full of ties. I don't think he owns a tie. You know, the company that we're sitting in was started in 1792. He's got the hottest financial services company in 2025. And so we started to talk about the white space of opportunity that existed between our firms and this common experience that we both had, and it brought us together.
Shane, were you looking for a partnership? And also, how do you think about, I mean, you're the young, hot kid on the street right now. How do you feel about partnering with the old guy?
Look, I'm just humbled to be here. It's when Jeff and I started talking about collaborations, despite maybe being from different eras, there was just a lot of cohesion. We were on the same page about all different types of things that we could build. I think what's exciting here is a lot of older juggernaut companies, they make announcements about different types of things they're going to do with cutting edge technology, but with what we're doing, there's going to be real bite. We're going to be able to actually build and ship some great stuff. Jeff, you know, ICE is the largest exchange company. They have so many assets in traditional finance, so much infrastructure, and I can't believe I'm being called. And his willingness to go and say, hey, let's go and leverage this infrastructure to go and innovate and disrupt the existing legacy systems and go and try and figure out the new brave new world. You know, you just can't pass that up. You've got one life.
Order
the
filled.
idea that we can have like you say, the old money and the new money, or sort of like
Order
the largest
submitted.
Existing player with like the new kid on the block. It's just a match made in heaven, and we're so excited.
Guys, what does it look like in practice? Meaning, in terms of, you talked about distribution, you talked about new products, things that you could ship. If we're having this conversation a year or two from now, what does this partnership look like to the public?
Let me take that. First of all, this company is probably the most distributed company in the world inside of the financial services industry and the existing banking system. And what Shane is doing using blockchain and other technologies is you know, DeFi and is basically disrupting all of that. And there's going to be a period of time when you have to do both, right? We need to bring along the industry into his disruption, and so, you know, initially we're going to be distributing his data,
submitted.
which I think even for you, Andrew, is becoming hot news. you know, some of these predictions are incredibly accurate, including the last election cycle. And so that, I think, will be of interest to legacy finance. But he and his engineers have already been working with our team, and I'm telling you, they're out there. They understand where the puck is going, and we're following them to make sure that we don't get disintermediated.
Shane, how soon is the U.S. market going to be able to have access to what you're doing? Because obviously, a lot of folks in the U.S. are going to your website constantly
Order canceled.
to see the numbers, but they're not able to actually
Order
place
submitted.
the bet.
Yeah, I think as people who've been paying attention have seen, we self-certified our first contracts recently, and it's happening very soon. We're going to be rolling out the beta this month. A few people have been on it, and so far the feedback's great, so we're really excited.
Jeffrey, when you think about prediction markets, you know, how does that fit in the world of exchanges more broadly? And maybe I'll ask you, I don't know if you want to say, I assume you thought to yourself, I want to look at Polymarket, but I should also look at the competition. So was there a moment in which you thought to yourself, I should look at Kalshi, I should look at some of these other guys, we should create our own? Meaning, what was the sort of thought process there?
Yeah, it's a good question. First of all, ICE really exists because
Order
of the disruption of the internet.
Order filled.
And I started the company in year 2000, and we
Order
ultimately
submitted.
acquired 20 legacy exchanges that
Order
weren't
submitted.
really willing to adapt to technology. And so I understand disruption. And watching what
Order
Poly's
submitted.
doing and a number of the other cohorts that you've mentioned, these people are innovating. They've pushed up against existing rules. They're figuring out how to get global. They're figuring out how to get directly into people's living rooms in ways that legacy exchanges have been somewhat prohibited by regulation and technology from doing. So it was pretty clear to me that we needed a partner. I don't know, the two of us, the yin and yang between the two of us just seemed to connect.
Shane, you're going to have a new boatload of money to play with. What are you going to spend it on?
Look, I think that it's such a moment in time for Polymarket, prediction markets at large, DeFi, and you raise a lot of capital so you can play offense, rain or shine, no matter what happens in the market, no matter what happens, you know, macroeconomics-wise. And we're just excited to come to market in America, be extremely aggressive, continue to grow our DeFi product internationally. And we've got a lot of exciting stuff in store. I'm super excited. Can't really give too much away right now, but I think people will be really pleased when they hear about it.
I don't know if it's a hint or not, but I think in this release you talk about but working together to tokenize things. How are you thinking about that?
Look, I think that we're all on the same page that tokenization is this disruption for financial assets of all types, and a lot of the difficulties and operational difficulties for traditional financial assets just go poof once you have tokenization. The infrastructure is inherently global. It's inherently fractionalized. You can go and send it anywhere instantly, and you know, it's still in the, I would say, exploratory phases. We don't have our exact product ready or the specific things, but you can sort of read between the lines in terms of the synergies between ICE and Polymarket, and I think that it's going to take the collaboration of the old and the new to go and say, hey, here's the existing business. ICE has a huge business in this regard, and we have the infrastructure, and here are the areas that can be disrupted by tokenization. Here are the areas where you need a consumer interface, you know, where Polymarket can come into it, and there'll be a lot of synergies that we're excited to roll out products for.
Jeffrey, Shane mentioned doing this rain or shine, no matter what the macroeconomics. I'm actually curious what you think about the macroeconomics in this moment. We had Paul Tudor Jones on the broadcast yesterday, and he made a comment that he thought we could be in October of 1999, which still means, by the way, the markets would have a good 40% to go. It just means you have to know when to get on and off the train. And I'm curious where you think the train is.
Well, the good thing about my job is that I'm not allowed to trade, and so I never have to opine. You know, we run
Order
the casino,
submitted.
if you will. But I will say, in following up on
Order
what Shane
submitted.
Said, the biggest limitation that I see in finance right now is that the New York Stock Exchange closes at 4, And if you buy an equity on the New York Stock Exchange, we settle it in T plus 1 day. If you're on Shane's platform, you're exchanging value instantaneously and paying for it instantaneously. And what I see the tokenization doing is really, rewiring the flow of the banking system. We have exchanges all around the world. They operate during, the local banking hours, and the tokenization that we're working on, I think, will be able to allow capital to flow freely anywhere in the world, anytime, anybody that wants to make a market on anything, which is what Shane is building. And so that's a macro trend that I know is here to stay, and but I would never trade against Paul Tudor Jones, by the way.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. I want to congratulate both of you. Look forward to following both of your progress now together. Shane and Jeffrey, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming in today.
Thanks. Great to see you. Mike?
Thank you very much. Up next, we'll talk markets and whether or not investors should lower their expectations for a Fed rate cut this month. Squawk Box. Be right back.
Do you care where the economy is headed? What about elections or climate change? See the forecast consensus on our future at IBKR Forecast Trader. If you disagree, you can buy the contract that looks undervalued.
Order filled.
But be careful. You must be right more than 50.5% of the time to win. Go to IBKR Forecast Trader.
Order submitted.
Sarah Benzino, Brandon Coley, Jablonski Auto Body, LLC.
What'd she call Harper?
Oh, you mean Jablonski Auto Body, LLC.
We actually sold the twins naming rights.
You know, like stadiums do. Kids are so expensive these days. Here he comes.
Oasis
Order
Breeze
filled.
Tan and Spa.
If you need a tan, I'm your
Order
man. We do
submitted.
business with you.
Or we can look at some investment options for you.
Works for us.
The right money moves aren't as absurd as you think.
At PGIM, our ETFs use today's best ideas to help bring tomorrow's goals within reach. Our broad suite of over 50 low-cost ETFs is backed by 150 years of active management expertise. Explore PGIM ETFs today.
Welcome to the Now Way to Network. They switched to Juniper's AI native network. And now everyone's so productive, they're operating at a higher gear. That's the Now Way to Network at work, with real AI, putting you in the fast lane.
Achieving success gives you choices. But the biggest choice in life is how to spend your time. Time to give back. Time to reflect. Time to escape. A great watch does so much more than tell time. It reminds us that the only real luxury is time itself.
Order canceled.
Boulevard, legendary since 1875.
A Chewy order is on the way for Jaws, who never lets go of what he loves. At least not until Dad gets on Chewy and gets him something new to love. Delivered fast. So Jaws can always live his best life. One mouthful at a time.
Order submitted.
For low prices and fast shipping, for life with pets, there's
Check out shares of PayPal after the company
Order
rolled
submitted.
out PayPal Ads Manager, a new platform that lets small businesses sell ads on their own sites and apps.
Order
PayPal
filled.
says the move would give millions of PayPal merchants a way to tap into the retail media space, e-tail media space. PayPal Ads Manager is set to launch in early 2026 in the U.S. with plans to expand overseas later on. The stock up just about 5%. Let's get another check on the markets now with Marianne Bartels, Chief Investment Strategist at Sanctuary Wealth. Marianne, great to see you.
Wonderful to see you.
Obviously, really strong trend in this market. We're making new highs. It feels like it's on the premise of getting Fed rate cuts into an economy that's pretty good. Is there any reason to doubt those things?
I don't think so. I mean, the markets are very overbought, but they've been overbought since September. We really haven't been able to get a decent pullback. I would like to see that because I think that does extend the health of the market. But we've been looking for year-end
Order filled.
to reach 7,000, and we think in early 2026
Order
we can
submitted.
reach 7,200. So we still think that there's great buying opportunities in the market.
And is AI the key driver, or you want to look beyond that?
It's all about AI. And it's all about tech related, the build out, the infrastructure, utilities, the infrastructure stocks. And I think that's going to lead us actually into the end of the decade. So when I do long-term secular trends, I see the S&P at 10,000 to 13,000. That's a double from where we are. Now, we could have a bear market at some point in between there, but I think this whole AI trend with tech is going to stay the leadership. It's going to stay growth. And that's where we're going to get the return. So people are talking about, is this a bubble? I think it's the early stages of the bubble.
Filled.
That would be pretty early, yeah, if we got another 5 years in us, I guess.
Order submitted.
Nominal growth, if things hold up this way, we're tracking it, 2.5 for this quarter. Inflation's still 2.5. That seems like it's an unusual environment to get multiple Fed rate cuts from here. Does that matter?
When I went to school and I was studying economics, this would not be the environment where we would be expecting the Fed to cut rates. But I've learned this is what we're dealing with. And if we get rate cuts, it's going to be very stimulative for risk assets. Down the road, and I don't think that's next year, maybe in the coming years, maybe that will eventually cause a little bit more inflation. I'm not sure we're going to get back down to that 2% level. That's probably one of my biggest concerns. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have gold continuing to hit record all-time highs.
When you say we won't get back down, you mean over 5 years, over 10 years, you mean ever?
I mean 2%?
Yeah.
Well, what happens if we never get back down to 2%? That's one of the concerns. If you ask me what's one of the risks that we have out there, I think that's one of the risks that we're facing.
You mentioned gold. We might as well note it just crossed above $4,000 for the first time, 4,002 right here. It seems as if the equity market is not going to get ahead of itself worrying about...
Good morning. Looks like the market is all-time high. Go, ES, NQ, stupid. What a stupid market. I don't know, dude. I'm stuck in a short, so I'm just gonna hold. Nothing else to do, you know?
I think that's a potential, but then I think that's the end of the cycle of the decline in rates, and then we'll start another upward cycle. But that's positive for risk assets.
It doesn't want to die.
But on a more tactical basis, the things seem like they're getting a little bit overheated. I mean, I watch some of these subsectors, not really the S&P, not even the NASDAQ 100, but drone technology, quantum computing, a lot of the real kind of gamey stuff out there is running.
I'm having a hard time chasing it as a technician at these levels. I think at some point we'll get a pullback. But you do want to go back into these stocks. They are the leadership of the market, particularly semiconductors. That's been my marker for this cycle. The true leadership in this market has been semis, and then tech and tech-related AI to follow.
I guess, the question, so you have a hard time chasing it. Everyone would like a pullback. What about general sentiment readings at this point?
Even if I just use the VIX, I don't have a sell signal. So, no. In fact, I've been watching the news, with all the concern that maybe we're in a bubble. That's not sentiment that causes a peak in the market.
In other words, you want VIX to be lower to show you people were complacent.
Connection lost.
Yeah,
and we're up around 16.
Yeah, it's actually been climbing.
Order filled.
Which is slightly unusual in the last several days.
Does that have anything to do with the government shutdown?
It could, I guess, or just seasonal stuff.
Yeah, the
order
markets
submitted.
Totally shrugged it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Marianne, great to talk to you. Thank you.
Wonderful to see you. Thank you.
All right, folks, we are wrapping things up here. If you want to take one more look at the futures, we'll show
order
you right
submitted.
now. It looks like the Dow futures are indicated up by about 85 points.
Order
NASDAQ indicated up by 81. The S&P futures up by just about 13 points.
We just got that lift from IBM in part for, and the rest of tech.
And as Mike mentioned, gold crossing above
4,000.
Order filled.
The poly market futures and see how Mamdani's doing and how many tweets Elon Musk is going to send out.
Robert, Mike, want to thank both of you.
Order submitted.
Thank you.
Great talking to you all.
Order
we'll
submitted.
See you right back here tomorrow. Right now it's time for Squawk on the Street.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Are we at 30 minutes? Hopefully a drop in 30 minutes.
Stock Exchange favor as the morning off. Future steady as the S&P goes for an 8th
Order
consecutive
submitted.
gain today.
Order submitted.
Wow.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Either partnering up with AI or raising some long-term targets.
Order
Gold futures,
filled.
as Becky said, did hit 4K for the first time ever.
Order
Our program
submitted.
begins with OpenAI sparking that big rally in tech as the company raises the stakes in the AI arms race. Despite the recent rally, a number of the Mag 7 names are hovering near correction territory. Meta is among them. And we're gearing up for Tesla's announcement today. Some reports that Elon Musk may be set to roll out a lower-cost EV. Stock has almost doubled in the last 6 months. Let's begin, though, with the OpenAI trade fueling the tech sector. Jim, we got a ton of names to toss around today on just this one part of the market.
Right. I mean, look, you've got Dell, which really is a major guide-up. I mean, a significant guide-up, and that is just Michael Dell, who's going to be on there, Tim Ford. Just being in the right place, getting the right execution. Michael told us this several times that this would happen, that he would be able to guide up. He's been totally transparent, and he totally nailed it. AMD, again, another 10, because people don't know how to value that. I think the one that's so interesting to me is IBM. IBM, I had this great interview. Great, I sound self-love there. I didn't mean like that. that Arvind Krishna was terrific, and he told us about how he was doing so much in this area. And then so he announces a deal with Anthropic, and his stock acts as if it's
And everything is going up.
just
There's a toast.
I think all he's doing is embracing what he said he would. So you've got Michael Dell saying he would
Order
do X,
submitted.
and now he's doing it. You have Arvind saying you do X,
Order
and now he's
submitted.
doing it. You have, look, I've got to tell you, go back over what Lisa Su said could happen with this MI450, which she said over and over again was going to be equal to what the current iteration, maybe not the Vera Rubin of Jensen Huang. These people are all what I would say delivering on their incredibly huge targets. And it's a credit to all of them. It's credit to the execution of these CEOs. They're doing a remarkable job.
Bunch of reactions on AMD. Piper goes to 240. Jeffries goes to 300. Bernstein 200. And then, Jim, this developers conference that OpenAI held yesterday, where the focus was not so much on a device or not so much on consumer use of chat, but a real push into enterprise. And I think we have a bit of sound.
All right, what's the next level? 291. Oof.
We've been working to try to figure out how to open up ChatGPT to developers. And we've tried things like GPTs, we've adopted standards like
Order
MCPs,
submitted.
and we've made it possible for developers to connect ChatGPT to more and more applications.
Order submitted.
Some of the stuff has worked, some of it hasn't, but we've learned a lot along the way. And today we're going to open up ChatGPT for developers to build real apps inside of ChatGPT. This will
Order
enable a
submitted.
new generation of apps that are interactive, adaptive, and personalized that you can chat with.
Participated Zillow, Mattel, Spotify, Figma, Hubs, all got a pop out of this.
Oh my! I mean, this reminds me of a market. There have been people who've been saying billionaires don't like market because they don't want you to become a billionaire.
Order filled.
It's already happened. But this 1999 reference is
Order filled.
1980s. 1980s where you would say, oh my God, look at that. There's a semiconductor company and it's affiliated with a PC company. I got to buy that stock. This is a remarkable bullish market of which it's met by skepticism all along the way. Figma. I mean, Figma's
Order
next.
submitted.
Boom, and let's take Figma. Right. Zillow. Whoa, let's take Zillow. But what I think is the corollary is what you said at the very beginning, which is there's a lot of the big caps flirting with bearish levels. And that's because this is the big threat. I mean, I think that the major threat to all these hyperscalers is a well-armed, financed OpenAI, because we don't know what vertical they want to be in, but they're
We tried to pin them down yesterday.
No, they won't go because I think they want to try everything. Yeah, I thought what Greg said that was very interesting was he said, yeah, we might fail on some. And Altman said that might fail.
Order filled.
Ability that no one thinks that Sam Altman has, and I was quite surprised at that.
Order filled. Order filled.
There is an amazing chart in the FT today looking at the tentacles that OpenAI has developed.
Can we put that up? That was amazing.
The title of the story is the $1 trillion computing deals that they put together. But
Order submitted.
That's a lot on the heels of one company being an important customer.
Well, you know, it's funny. That tremendous seminal eye on the market
Order
piece by Michael
submitted.
Semlis. He was talking about the Oracle is 500% in terms of what their leverage is.
Debt to equity, yeah.
Right, and you've got the OpenAI and you have Oracle are the two that are the sketchiest, so to speak, financially. And yet all anyone wants to talk about is what the two can accomplish, particularly OpenAI. I would like to see more money. I think that Sarah Fryer, who is the CFO, we have so much respect for her. We don't think she put her name on something that they couldn't pull off. I mean, I know her from when I attacked Square and said they don't have the balance sheet to do it. And she explained to me in painstaking terms of what they did have in the balance sheet. And I would love her to come on more than anyone.
Yeah.
When I go out to California next week, I really got to talk to Sarah, because if they have the balance sheet to pull this off, pay everybody, pay
I wanted to dump too. Oh man.
well, maybe they are going to be king. I mean, I always think what matters is the balance sheet. That's the way I was schooled. Not that you can, it's not a build it and they'll pay for it.
I love the note out of JP Morgan desk last night. Probably the best AMD could hope for. They can't write a check for $100 billion. They gladly trade 10% dilution for a $600 share price.
Yeah, 24 minutes. I'm already in a short, so it doesn't matter.
The fact that some of this 6 gigawatt might be double counted Stargate revenue.
I don't think it's.
Oh crap.
Look, I like to be more skeptical, not a bear, but I'm not buying that. I will say
Order filled.
When I talk to Lisa Su, she remains
Order filled. Order submitted.
Will always put herself in the shoes of someone who is a partner who is not going to hurt Jensen. It's not going to happen. She thinks that she's got something. She recognizes that. She actually recognizes that her multiple is pretty high, even versus
canceled.
Nvidia. But it was a huge win for her. And in the end, what we're talking about is
my
her
pro?
chip better on a price basis? And the MI45, 450, I think is. But we got to speak to Jensen.
Order submitted.
By the way, Jensen's another guy. Remember, he's a lover, not a fighter. He's going to tell you that immediately. Although he did tell me once that he felt that Mark Zuckerberg was a fighter. I want to see what that conversion is about when we have our special today.
Order submitted.
But I think there's room for everybody. I just really do. I think it's the
Order
railroads
canceled.
in the 1870s. There's room for more than one
But
railroad.
you did just say some of these correction levels are because there will be losers.
Well, we got to see what Amazon's going to do. I mean, I thought this Anthropic, IBM could be more. They're affiliated with Anthropic. I thought that might redound more to
Order canceled.
to Amazon stock price. Amazon stock price can't get out of the way. I think a lot of what Sam Altman and OpenAI are doing is
Order
an attack on
submitted.
Meta. When I say attack, I mean, yes, they're looking at what Meta could be, and they're saying,
Order filled.
Look, I have been saying over and over again, this is the year of magical investment. Now, I say that to counter the bears who have been so wrong, and yet still keep
Come on, baby. Drop it.
Remember last week, all we heard about was that, what's going to happen is that Jensen Huang is giving OpenAI $100 billion, and they're going to give orders to No, they gave the orders to AMD, for heaven's sake. Why can't we just say that? He gives them $100 billion, they give an order
Such a
to
dick.
to me, it's rude.
Depending on how the warrants work out, some desks were playing with the possibility that Nvidia could own some AMD in the end.
Well, that would be. Well, when we used to have antitrust, they would have been furious.
Right.
Oh, no, we still got that. By the way, AppLovin, did you see the SEC send somebody a letter?
Yes.
What? A letter? I think they got. No, actually, they sent a letter to the SEC.
There is a story that the SEC is probing some data collection practices where their platform partners, they tried a little aggressively to push advertisements.
Buy AppLovin. Can you go to the next story?
Sorry?
Buy AppLovin. Let's go to the next story.
That's that simple? So you were
like Palantir.
What country's Ben?
Problem with the Army. Buy Palantir. The year of magical investment.
Good morning, Sean.
And at this point, you are not at all.
Oh shoot! I didn't even know Traday's in here.
Or the fact that the S&P is now 41.
Good morning.
Nvidia's selling at 28 times next year's earnings. It's hard for me to hate Nvidia. Look, I screwed up. I was looking looking for a while at Google, at Alphabet, and I said, you know what, I don't like it. Justice Department, remember, that was the previous Justice Department. That was like the jackboot Justice Department. They're coming after them, and I'm worried about Gemini, and I got out of that at 17 times earnings. Well, then it went to 29 times earnings. Well, I got out of it when it had a multiple like a chemical company. So I just have to think, look at the multiples next year about what could happen. It's not, I accept everything. Although with AppLovin and Palantir, those have superior growth. And I don't believe the accusations. I think that when I look at AppLovin, they have explosive growth, and I know that the bears absolutely hate it. I went over with Craig Billings, the CEO of Win, who is the head of the audit committee. This is before this charge, obviously, but I felt pretty confident that things are fine at AppLovin. Palantir, when they had that problem with the Army, so to speak.
Looks like the 3 minutes is overbought now, so it might start pulling back.
I'm no fan of Alex Karp as a person. I am a fan of Alex Karp as a business person.
Right.
Those are very different things. I'm not a fan of Elon Musk.
We
as a
talked
person.
yesterday about 2 trips to 190, but you think it
Cat Daddy.
Yes, I do. It's 150 goes to 200. I think they have amazing sales. You know, last week Boeing announced that they're turning over their stuff. I mean, Kelly Ortberg,
You go.
I don't know this. This guy's a tough guy.
Order
He's very
filled.
tough, humorless, and he went with Palantir for what? Well, to
Order
clean up
submitted.
things. That's a big move.
Right. By the way, speaking of all of this, our team here at Squawk on the Street took some time to test out Sora, which is the new video generator at OpenAI. We created a couple of clips. It's worth noting that while this sounds like us, Jim, David, and me, Sora couldn't use Jim, David, or my face, so it created some random hosts. For the first clip, here's how we prompted the app. Quote, video of CNBC Squawk on the Street at NYSE with generic hosts named Carl, Jim, and David. They're talking about Eagles football, NAI, need to clearly see all 3 hosts.
Last night, that's a statement. Eagles defense looks like the real deal. And Hurts just keeps finding a way to win. Philly fans are going to be unbearable loud now. Wait until the parade. But the AI crowd. I'll tell you, that goal line stand last night, that's a...
For the second clip, the team tried a more challenging prompt to, quote, create
Yeah, there's no news today.
with song about CNBC Squawk on the Street. 9 a.m. show must say Squawk on the Street.
Trader is really good for daily payouts. Tradeday and TPT. Love it.
Squawk on the street. 9 a.m. sharp. Every trade on display, and the Niner show must say. From the bell on the floor to the.
I don't know how long that took, but I don't think
Order
it took very long.
Order filled.
Let's go. Keep dropping.
This is stuff, by the way, that
Order
Jensen showed me you
submitted.
could do 8 years ago. No one believed. Now it seems a little bit like a parlor game. It's fun. But Jensen, I cannot wait to see. He's going to go over with our club members. He's going to talk to people who've made hundreds of thousands, if not millions, from him.
We'll do a Tradeday giveaway tomorrow. You want? We'll do the 50K intraday tomorrow.
And here it is. There was no goal line stand this weekend when the red zone defense was not good. And I would like to correct that just from the point of view of that loss we had this Sunday.
Yeah. Now, I understand why Jensen's with you today, but do you expect to press him a bit on the AMD stuff?
Well, I have to. I'm not a reporter if I don't. I do think that there are many ways to explain what happened. And I remember, you're dealing with maybe the most gracious Da Vinci-like CEO. I mean, I don't think there's anything that he would say that is necessarily going to be a surprise, in part because he sees good in everyone and everything, and he likes Lisa very much. And I think that he can come up with an analysis that would say easily, this just shows how big things are, that if it was just him, maybe it wouldn't be.
Let's go, baby. Drop that. Hell yeah.
Order filled.
That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point about that chart.
Right. OpenAI needed more chips because Elon Musk wants everything that they have. Elon Musk does. He has this list of pals that he talks about.
I'm getting out.
People who he really is close to. And Mark Zuckerberg wants everything. And Satya wants everything. And I think that you can't get everything. I mean, it's very funny because just a few weeks ago, again, speaking of the Bears, if they don't get China, these companies are through. Well, no, they just got away with that. That no one's coming back.
Order filled.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. Let's go.
By saying being a China hawk is not
Get me out of here.
Well,
or a badge of shame, as he put it.
I've gone over that with them because I am China. But I don't buy I'm not an anti-globalist. I'm not a free trader. I think that what's going to happen is the president's going to include what he wants with NVIDIA with the Chinese, because the Chinese probably want NVIDIA technology more than anything. Sure, they have Huawei, and we read press releases. And by the way, this is me, not Jensen. Jensen has tremendous respect for China. I come back and say they are a press release country. And they put out releases which just show that everything they do is superior to us. And we, like fools, believe them. We have a tremendous inferiority complex. We don't even think our colleges are good anymore because even that's the last bastion of things that we don't like our science anymore. We might as well
Drop some codes, Tradeday.
It's kind of like Jimmy Carter. It's really a shame about our institutions. Because our institutions are not a bunch of
Yeah, that's a good drop. I got out on a lot of my shorts.
Well, I mean, look, I went to Harvard, and every day, I get a lot of money at Harvard, and I don't want to feel like I I don't feel like I got fooled.
I think you did okay. You put it to work every day, right here.
Scholars that I put through, and I don't feel foolish.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm another joker like everybody else.
Jim, we look forward to this afternoon. It's a big set with Jensen Wong at 4 p.m. Eastern. When we come back, the buzz surrounding today's Tesla product event. Take a look at the pre-market this morning. We'll get to a bunch of other movers. Got some Constellation in there. There's Ford news.
It ain't working, Cat Daddy. We ain't got nothing.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you
dump
get
this
there.
Ponzi.
It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
What if we start going after the big banks? We grow into more countries, go into Europe, we go into US. Standing here today, 20 years later, we actually disrupt the whole retail banking industry. The retail banking industry has made too much money and hasn't taken the best interest of its customers.
Submitted.
And that's what we're trying to do. And the billions we've given back in zero interest to our customers is amazing.
Genius innovators like Benjamin Franklin forged ahead during a time when others dared not to go.
This is a game changer.
AI is changing the game at lightning speed, inspiring today's leaders to reimagine how they deliver power to billions of homes. Prisma Airs, the world's most comprehensive AI security platform, allows your own innovations to energize the world.
I need this to drop more.
Deploy bravely.
The club is really about empowerment, empowering you to manage your own money.
One of the key benefits for me is knowing where Jim is going to buy or sell before he does it.
He teaches how to invest versus just what trades to make.
What I like about Jim is he makes it easy for someone like me to understand how to invest my money properly.
Booyah, Jim! Get invested. Join the club today. Go to cnbc.com/joinjim.
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The OV goals, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
I don't know. I don't think so. 15 minutes looks towards overbought too. So we might get rug pull wide open. But what I know, I hate this market. Oh, I gotta go pee. I'll be back.
OV goals all here. Comebacks are here. Bucci is here. Barn burners, thousands of them. Trade alerting, here. The fans, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Take a look at some NASDAQ 100 gainers. AMD once again going to add to yesterday's gains, another 5% as a bunch of analysts either raise their target or upgrade in the case of Jefferies, for example. PayPal's in there, Trade Desk, Micron. We'll get Kramer's Mad Dash and count down to the opening bell after a break.
In any business, you ride the line between numbers and people. What's right for the business and what's best for everyone who depends on it. Solving today's challenges while creating future opportunities. It takes balance. CLA, CPAs, consultants, and wealth advisors will get you there.
Critics love to say that'll never work. They said it about electricity.
I want to re-short because it looks like it's gonna dip.
Remember the critics. It only remembers what got built.
Order submitted.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to drop some more.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Maybe. We created it, tested it, and it works. We love to hear them say that'll never work. That's how we know we're getting somewhere.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
Well, she doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-476-0100 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
You buy low, sell high, jump on that trend, ride the wave. Stop. That's not how investing works. Wealth isn't won in a bet. Luck is not a strategy, and success demands discipline. You're serious about investing, right?
Comcast Business Advanced Networking and Security Solutions help turn businesses into logistics mastering, supply chain transforming, seamlessly restocking, frictionless paying, poke bowl ordering, cyber securing, mobile access granting, data managing. Welcome to the world
Order
of
filled.
modern businesses. Powering the engine of modern business, Comcast Business.
Order submitted.
October 15th, join CNBC's AI Summit in Nashville, where visionary leaders and innovators explore AI's impact on work, business, and society. Register now at cnbcevents.com/AI.
Let's get the Kramer's Mad Dash, but first a reminder about this afternoon.
Yeah, you're on the right one.
Still join the club right now and be able to watch our special with Jensen Huang. I think is the most important person in the world right now in business. It's just the club. It's not going to be on our network. You can still sign up. And I think it's important to know that you can do it right up until a second before.
Very good.
Why not join? Today we see PayPal on the move. PayPal has an ad manager for small and medium-sized businesses. Now this is, again, I think, a shot at what you can do with Meta. I mean, everyone is saying, listen, we're going to get advertising for small business. You got Shopify that's doing it with Etsy, on OpenAI. The small, medium-sized business people, why are they so treasured? Because it is the backbone of the U.S. economy, and they start up all the time, and they need exposure, and this is the cheapest form of exposure. I'll tell you, the one that's the most undervalued is Reddit. Reddit ads have been shown to do everything in a targeted group, but they're not talked about that much because Reddit, Steve Huffman is he's not a promotion artist. But I do like that Alex Christ is finally doing something to merit what I think is a very, very good set of things he wants to do.
We got 6 minutes. Hopefully it's gonna dump.
He's correctly, let's say he's getting credit, but the stock is still down for the year.
Yeah. Do you think that a giant, Meta's just the example that we have in hand, can be materially slowed by 1,000 tiny arrows?
I think that yes. I do think that you'll have to look at price performance. The price performance from a Meta ad is very, very good, but look, it works. Maybe everything works. I mean, maybe you take an attitude that just says you can put it with everybody because it's still so much better than linear and TV and magazines. Those were all the way you used to try to get hold of people, all failures. So this is terrific for small meetings. That's who uses PayPal. Congratulations to them for getting it right.
Yeah, we talked about it in the spring and the summer, David's interview, and whether there was
It wants to drop, but even gold is dropping.
Order filled.
Let's just say chagrined about why they didn't do something. Well, now
Order submitted.
It's the type of thing that Jensen would describe. I keep talking Jensen because he is the one who'd say there's room for everyone in this fourth industrial revolution, except for the bears. They don't seem to get it. They can stand just
5 minutes.
And billionaires too. Take that.
We're
Order
going to talk about
canceled.
the other side in a little bit. The opening bell a few moments away.
Order
Don't forget
canceled.
You can catch us
Order
anytime,
submitted.
anywhere. Just listen to and follow the Squawk on the Street Opening Bell podcast.
Order submitted.
CNBC's Changemakers 2026 list, spotlighting women who innovate, lead boldly, and are transforming business. Do you know someone who is rewriting the future? Nominate them now at cnbc.com/changemaker.
Did you know Redfin has rentals?
You mean Rentfin?
No, Redfin, the real estate app.
Yeah, I said Rentfin.
Fish is already up
But you're saying
40,000.
Redfin,
Wow.
it's Redfin.
I know I'm saying Rentfin. Listen, Rentfin.
Okay, so this sound you're making with your mouth Is it red like the color or rent like an apartment?
Red. Like red.
Okay, so say Redfin.
Rentfin.
People said I didn't look like your average football player. He had more of an accountant look, but I saw the field differently. And when I started wearing Warby Parker glasses in middle school, it all just clicked. All of a sudden, he's reading playbooks on the bus. Having good vision changed my life. There was also a great mentor. I think it was the glasses. Yeah, maybe.
AI is changing the game at lightning speed, inspiring today's leaders to reimagine how they deliver power to billions of homes. Prisma Airs, the world's most comprehensive AI security platform, allows your own innovations to energize the world.
Consumer Cellular is lowering the price for those 50 and up. Get 2 unlimited lines for $30 each. That's just $60 a month. So switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage satisfaction. Visit consumercellular.com today.
Mary's Bun Shop. Nah, too boring. Ugh. No. Why? The worst. Oh, that's so bad.
3 minutes still looks like it wants to drop.
Bring it in, Mary. There it is.
But it's trying to pump.
Naming a business? Hard. Swagging it out? Easy. Move your business forward with swag.
Order canceled. Order submitted.
Nuveen invests with the foresight and vision to anticipate the needs of future generations. To build strong portfolios that deliver lasting legacies. To innovate and adapt for what's just around the corner. Because after 125 years of yesterdays, Nuveen knows your ultimate stakeholder is tomorrow. Nuveen, invest.
Who's
like
top
the future
10
is watching.
or top 3?
The opening bell is brought to you by Nuveen. Invest like the future is watching.
What's a command for that?
Along with this market action, you can't take your eye off of gold, hitting 4,000 for the first time ever today, currently sitting just a few dollars above that, Jim. Goldman takes their forecast for year-end 26 to 4,900.
Well, I think that one of the things that people are missing about gold, and this is something you get when you speak to Agnico Eagle, is that we're having trouble finding gold.
Alright, 1 minute.
When you go to areas like where Barrick went to, in Africa,
Let me see gold. Gold looks like it wants to drop, so let me see if I can short it.
pay ransom, or think about what you have to do with the Grasberg mine in Freeport.
Order
You
filled.
come back to it and say, listen, the safe that's in Indonesia. What happens ultimately is you say, wow, I can only really find gold in Canada and the United States without any problem, which is Agnico. And then you put it in the other side, with the demand side, that how Costco can't find any, and Costco is one of the largest buyers in the world of anything. Right. We have a gold shortage. We do not. We maybe have a Bitcoin shortage. It's really hard to tell because there's so many different.
Come on, dump it.
Different coins, maybe Bitcoin shortage, but gold is hard to find right now. Hard to find. We're just not finding big tracks of
Right.
it.
Well, but the demand side's important too. You put up Ken Griffin's comments from yesterday. He thinks investors are beginning to see it as safer than
5
the
seconds.
dollar. And by the way, DXY is testing the trend line on a multi-year.
Yes, I have been a big believer. I've been a huge buyer of gold and believer of gold, and I've been wrong. And I'm glad and gratified to see I am no longer wrong. It's the way
Order
I look at it.
submitted.
Let's say I'm right. I'm just no longer wrong because I've been wrong
Order
for a long
filled.
time on gold.
We'll see. Griffin,
Order filled.
his actual
Let's
quote,
go. Drop it.
We're definitely on a bit of a sugar high in the U.S. economy right now.
Well, I mean, look, if you look at Agnico's chart, you've got a stock that's up 117%. It may be sugar high or it may be a recognition.
It's not a dump, it's just a little dip. Little baby dip. Ain't no dump.
Say, look, they can't agree that in down there is buy gold for your kids. And I have been emphasizing, please put it in the safe deposit box. Do not keep it in your home. But you need it. Everybody needs it. In my book, I talk about you must have it. You just can't afford to not have gold.
There's the opening bell.
What a dip on gold. Wow.
It is the New York Rangers MSG Sports celebrating their centennial
Yeah, I don't know about pump and dump.
Mike Richter, those are giants there on the podium at the NASDAQ. It's natural gas producer
Order submitted.
Expand Energy, Jim. Yeah, we'll see. We continue to flirt around with these levels. Just 67.50.
Yankee wants to die. Go.
Joining the likes of BMO.
You know, look, I do expect that there's going to be some turmoil around November 5th when the Supreme Court's going to hear the decision. You know, we're going to listen to the arguments about tariffs. That is the biggest, I'd say the biggest ticking time bomb if you think that Justice Roberts can't wrangle people together to do it, because then we'd have to write checks to these people who have been writing checks to us, and that is not something that anyone can, this market can't absorb that. You can't, not at these prices.
When Besson was on Squawk last week, he suggested we might hear news on a farm bailout today, Tuesday. There are some reports that it could be in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 billion, although there's questions now about how he would execute it given the shutdown.
I don't know. That's a great point. I mean, but then again, there's always emergency edicts that we do, and I'm doing something at the Federal Reserve.
Order filled.
Hey, what a pump.
At will. You know,
Order
the flip side of
canceled.
this is that there's still a lot of problems with commodity pressure in the economy. We're not talking enough about inflation. We know
Order
that
submitted.
Carlisle, by the
Order
way, had some
canceled.
interesting subbing for the Labor Department that wasn't so great.
Carlisle has some proprietary data which shows that we
Order
probably
submitted.
added 17K in September. That would have been a miss.
Yeah, I'm shorting every little pump. I don't care. I can't long in this market, dude. It's just, market sucks. Just short it.
Their work is excellent. Okay, so that made me a little bit pause, and the downgrade to the home builders, that was a pause that I had. That was pretty tough.
I was going to try to get you on the ITB. This is close to a 2-month low on some of the builders.
Well, look, we need rate cuts, and we need to have the rate cuts create more building by the home builders. We need to have any land that can be used, because it is true that zoning has been used to stifle home development, which therefore stifles the affordability of home for people, and I'm very much against that. And I think that the Atlantic, by the way, which I think is terrific magazine, did a piece that basically just said, look, the zoning laws are why housing is so expensive, and I was all in on that piece. I think it's very true.
So what would you rather have, lower rates or easier permitting on a state and local level?
I think you need both.
It won't lose at 220. It's just keep bouncing at a 220, but gold is dropping.
And that's worrisome. Look, the home, I'm not talking, look, I already said that the small business is the backbone. I could then go with the American Dream home, and at that point I'm really just a hackneyed hack. But I would say that it's out of reach. Homes are out of reach. We got to find a way to make it so they're not out of reach.
Yeah, Goldman did a piece last week.
Order canceled.
With how many homes we'd have to add
Order
to get affordability
submitted.
back to the 90s.
Oh, I know.
We're talking 4 million homes.
Yes.
I mean, that's nowhere near what Pulte is trying to get to, given FHFA measures
I
pressure.
do think, no, look, I mean, it's a real issue. We've got these intractable issues that make people be and feel poorer, and particularly the next generation. This current generation, when I wrote my book, I said, okay, listen, they're getting a lot of money, but they feel poor, they don't want to save, they feel that what's the point of not spending now? Why not spend? Because there's nothing we're never going to be as wealthy as our parents. That's the ethos of Gen Z, and I think that's just, you can correct that. You can put money away, you can find the next NVIDIA. They are out there. The next NVIDIA is out there. And we saw one, I don't put AppLovin, or I don't want to put, I don't want to put Palantir there, just because this man who runs NVIDIA, okay, Jensen Huang, he shouldn't be in the same sentence as Carp.
Right.
Because he's a genteel, terrific person who wants everyone.
Yeah, and they're trying to bounce back. I don't know.
Are you impressed with
It's hard to tell now. It wants to drop, but not anymore. Hey, what's up, man?
Order filled.
Maybe it's going to be up 75 points. And the reason I said
Morning.
that is
Just shorting.
what
Nothing more.
Lisa was saying was, look, RMI.
That's all I do is short. This market sucks.
Now, she, by the way, even as recently as last year, she did.
Yeah, I bought long. I think it went up to like 100 points.
Order submitted.
Yeah.
She thinks catch
I've been shorting, taking some profit, but not much.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
Yeah, I was in that drop. Now he's
Order
pumped.
submitted.
Yeah. Stupid.
Order submitted.
Dang, it's almost all-time high again.
She's talking about a product that comes out in the second half of 2026.
Yeah, it's very hard to trade.
I think Jensen's been a moving target the whole time, and what he will have will be definitive.
Gambit's done. He won't come back to tomorrow when he gets his pro. Yeah, milk is working.
Order canceled.
AMD is a remarkable company, and I think that
Order filled.
Lisa Su was never
Keep dropping.
Order filled.
She was quietly building something which she would tell people, but again, you know, I think
Order submitted.
these executives.
Trying to hurry up and finish this Apex so I can get my payout.
Order submitted.
She never says anything without saying great things about.
I got the days already. I just need to get 150 more.
He competes against other.
But most likely I'll get denied because it was deep red.
Order submitted.
Fourth industrial revolution, everybody has to win because he cannot be the gating factor, and the power companies can't be the gating factor. We have to find better, quicker power, and we can't find. I mean,
No news. Let me check the channel.
They're all in trying to get more power, but I saw Cole.
No news today.
That's tough if Cole makes a comeback because we're not ready
Yeah, I
for
don't
that.
see anything.
And in the meantime, electricity utility prices are doubling CPI.
I don't think you're here, but I don't know if I told you. Tradeday is giving all the people in the tournament 50k intraday account to give out every week, once a week. Yeah, so I just got one yesterday. I'll probably give it out tomorrow on YouTube.
And I gotta tell you,
Yeah, it's really.
I've been
Yeah, it's just for competing.
much power, and these are good companies, but I don't want to see the rates go.
I need to hurry up and YOLO that one because I'm 7th. Still top 10, but I want to be like number 1.
Double upgrade for healthcare. They were at underweight, they go to overweight.
I mean, that's typical bull market behavior. You're looking to see what
15 minutes still looks like got some upside, but I just can't call.
lost yesterday. You're getting go by J&J. Just go by J&J. It's down 5. People will forget about the litigation in 4.5 days. Right? By next week at this time, when favor comes back, I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
While you were out.
Yeah, while you were out, I think J&J. Right now, you buy it, and then you just take a couple of Tylenol. Oops, no, that's Kenvue. Forget the Tylenol. But I do think that J&J is the kind of thing you look for in a real bull market, like in the 80s. You just say, oh my God, J&J, I got it,
We talked about IBM at the top, Jim, and their partnership now with Anthropic, but that's we've already taken out the highs from the summer.
Order submitted.
Think about IBM. The last quarter, Ben Righteous and I were talking about this. Is from Melius. The last quarter I liked, and we've done a piece which just said the quarter was good. The quarter was good, and we looked foolish for about 3 weeks, and then now you look at this thing and you say, wow, that was your chance. Again, using the rules of the 1980s. Not 1999, which only
Order
the billionaires
canceled.
really seem to remember that year. What you have to recognize is that we would get these markets and you would say, okay, they haven't taken up the waste management group, or they haven't taken up Pepsi and Coke. Right. That's the way it used to be, and I think people
Order
just are
submitted.
like thinking this is unfathomable. Now they say healthcare.
That's choppy
that
now.
is classic behavior from the 80s and early 90s, where you said, oh, I've got that area. Now, age does give you one advantage, which is that you remember that period from when I used to say, well, I would go in to see rich families, and I say, you got to buy Pepsi. Why? Well, it's at 90. Why is that good? Well, $90 stocks go to 120. Well, how about Coca-Cola? It's at 80. When that gets to 90, it's going to go to 1. I used to go in and say that, and everyone laughed at me, and then everyone gave me all the money I wanted.
I think you go into this in your book a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a fun time because you had to have the wisdom of recognizing the era of magical investing.
Yes. Now, we are going to get Thursday. Pepsi's going to help us kick off the season.
Look, I think Pepsi's going to be a little bit like STZ, okay? STZ was so
Order
negative
filled.
that it looked up to people. I think Pepsi at 139 could do the exact same
Nice.
thing.
What, 2 more days and get a payout?
Has a chance to be the next Constellation.
Order submitted.
Hell yeah.
Constellation had taken things down so low that when it finally reported it was not
Order
good.
filled.
They were cautiously optimistic. this is the worst is
Order
over.
submitted.
And so people then jump on that because they're looking for
They
something.
said the consumer remains, quote, depressed.
Order
But
filled.
I knew they were depressed.
What is this?
Magical
What's up, Gabe? Anything you can come on today?
He says they're depressed. It's time. And he's talking about, look,
You got anything to trade?
my wife's got Phosphoro. Mezcal, agave is the only thing that's still up.
Order filled.
The only spirit that's up, the only one.
You got anything to trade, Gambit? I didn't think you're gonna come on.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
Maybe the worst is over. That's fine. PepsiCo, maybe the worst is over.
Oh, Gambit, join the 75K challenge. It starts Monday, okay? So don't buy it until Friday.
Bill Newland's telling us not to. I mean, PepsiCo, I think that I do believe that there's.
You need the 75. Yeah. Yeah, the TPT challenge. Are you gonna join? Or I think you're maxed out, right?
The stock's at 148. Okay, now it's at 139.
That sucks.
It yields 4%. I think Ramon McGuire.
Yeah. They'll let you park it. Yeah, just join. It'll be fun.
It's one of those situations.
Order
We're
submitted.
doing badly. You think we're doing badly? We're doing badly. Maybe worse is over. Buy
Order
PepsiCo. I'm
submitted.
telling you, buy PepsiCo. Is J&J up yet? Double J&J.
That's a tough 5 year.
No, all right, move 2 points.
It's fine.
How about AppLovin? Is
That's-
it time? You bet it is. AppLovin's up 38. What? The SEC sent him a letter. It doesn't. This is a different kind of market, and you have people. Come on. You have Paul Tudor Jones.
Did you take pictures? I want to see.
He has tremendous gravitas. And he's ultimately going to be right, but in the interim,
No way.
the market can come in. It can come in.
Is that your first time going to Coyote Ugly?
If Carlisle's right that we're doing 17,000 jobs a month,
I like it.
Cut.
Eventually, you think the market will start discounting that?
Cut. You know, cut. You know, short rates go to 2. Look, I think people are confused.
That's true.
Do I think it should be this way?
Bet you Brian's like, I bet you he loves that. What's up, baby bear?
The 80s and 90s, and I got very fortunate to be able to make a lot of money.
Most of the bears are dead, buddy. Just me and you.
I just believed. I said, look, I think this is happening. I went in. I'm a poor reporter. I got in at Goldman Sachs. I went in. People don't remember.
Man, y'all VIP, man.
If you got in, you made money. Because we got so interested in S&P funds. That's all we do. S&P. They don't realize that an AppLovin can change your life.
Oh, go to the dim sum at Gold Rush. You just gotta take Uber. It's across the street from the Palms. That dim sum place is pretty good. I gotta look it up. I forgot the name, but it's in the Gold Coast Casino.
They're not gonna make you rich.
Yeah, I'll find it.
That we are so beaten
No, it's not downtown. It's not that far from the strip. You just gotta take Uber. It's like right across the street from Palms Casino.
potatoes angles market, and we have to change that. We have to tell people, listen, you can go and
Oh yeah, Ping Pang Pong. That's the name.
but they can change your life.
Yeah.
People at that meeting today are all
I'll send the image. It's really good. I like it. I love the Singapore noodles.
because that man told you
There
he
you go.
could do it, and that's what we should be excited about. No, hey, I'm really fired up about my S&P 500 fund. Forget it. They're in, and again, I'd say, as a concession, I say you gotta have
Short
one.
every pump, baby.
There are companies that are making you fortunes, and you're choosing to avoid it because someone who has $1 billion tells you not to do it.
Oh, you got stopped out? Dang.
Called me when Alibaba was at 79, and he just said, bah. And I said, okay, Temper for some reason, I don't know why. Temper's willing to help people make money. I don't know what's about that man that he wants people to. Like,
We got the Tradeify race today
but there is
for the members, so you guys should be in it already.
is to forget that this is the year of magical investing.
What do you make of Ice Polymarket?
Oh, what do I make about Ice?
Yeah.
But he's a magic touch. Now,
I need $500 for the bulenox in 6 more days and get a payout.
There's too much betting. I recognize. Try to keep the dollars low if you do bet. Right. I know there are a lot of younger
Yeah,
people who are on
because
their,
I mean, just doing $100 a day. Yeah, be the third one.
because
Try to do $100 a day, and then after 10 days, you back up to the buffer again and just take out another 1,000.
Stop betting and start finding fantastic companies. Stop betting on a Robinhood and own the
Morning, Zelda.
Yeah, you had Galaxy.
Yeah, you got your oh, you long?
On Hood's neighborhood, and then of course
Oh.
today, Nice will be interesting.
Room for everybody.
Yep.
You guys are brave, long at an all-time high. I just can't do it.
This zero-sum analysis is something that the Bears have put in our head over the last 30 years, which is that you can't win and only one can win. That's foolish. It's exactly the opposite of the Mag 7, exactly the opposite of FANG. When I created FANG, I said, hey, listen, everyone's going to win. And, everyone won, but still the narrative became don't buy stocks,
just
buy
chop.
index funds. And there are people whom I revere, and that's why I say 50% of your money in the book, 50% of your money should be in index funds, who I revere them. But at the same time, what is the matter with finding Berkshire Hathaway instead of just listening to the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, or now chairman of Berkshire Hathaway? When I met Lee Cooperman in the 1980s, he said, buy
Yes.
Berkshire Hathaway.
Yes. I mean, we did have Cooperman on the other day, and you know what he quoted? He quoted Buffett from the 90s saying we've entered that period where everybody in the market's made money, and they're in the market because you make money.
Right. Well,
you think that's a bit of a treacherous period.
He told me to lease and tell everyone to buy Berkshire Hathaway, but it was a huge dollar amount, and no one wanted to listen to me. I mean, it was terrible. I couldn't convince anyone to buy it because the stock was $2,000. Well, it turned out it was worth so much more.
Oh, Baby Bear, you should have that credit now.
Is that people, I'm not saying suspend judgment. I am saying look at the wealth that's being created. Look at the lives that are being changed. I'm trying to change lives with the club. The damn club, I care. I care because I want to change lives. I want to change the lives of people. When I walk on the street and I see people, guy on Friday night stops me, says, hey man, I make 300,000. 300,000, never had 300,000. Never. Guy on the street and
Nice.
I made $250,000. And I always say the same thing.
Are you close to payout on TPT?
Jensen Wong did it. I just listen. I'm an apostle to that man.
No. TPT.
We look forward to this afternoon, Jim, with Jensen, 4 p.m.
Connection
And as he pointed
lost.
out, you can still to hear that conversation.
You're just taking your time, unlike Gambit, going like 20 AQ at a time.
Kashkari at 11:30. For now, bonds have been fairly well behaved.
You better not.
Still above 4.1, but below 4.
You have two of the 150, right? 150K? Yeah, go heavy on one, but go light on the second one. Yeah, because October, his first week is done. You haven't... Have you got a payout this month? You have, right?
The Bond Report is brought to you by PIMCO, a global leader
Don't
in
be like
active
me.
fixed income.
What makes a Medicare supplement insurance plan, like an AARP Medicare supplement insurance plan from United Healthcare, a good choice
7
for
already.
people on Medicare? It's smart for you to have now,
I'm 65.
and later on, for the future you.
I'm 70-ish.
It's really smart.
Hey, looking good. You made a great choice for us.
With this type
You
of
want to do
plan,
that after
see
the
any
buffer,
doctor or
though.
visit
After
any
you hit the
hospital
buffer and do
accepts
that. So you,
Medicare
you know how Mugo was talking about, I want to make 15,000. That's what
future
Mugo
will
was
have
trying to
more
do.
I kept our doctor.
Oh, you
And
don't?
when I needed
Okay,
a specialist,
gotcha.
no referrals needed, right? Bingo.
In fact, see any doctor
It's a
anywhere in the
gamble.
US. Really smart to have when you travel.
When I visit this little cutie in Arizona, my plan goes with me. Grandkids! I can't wait.
Yeah.
Don't worry about surprise medical bills either. You'll know up front about how much your care will cost. And knowing your expenses makes planning your financial future easier.
I'm glad my husband and I can use our
Well,
savings
not many people
to do the
blowing
things
up.
we want to do. I'm glad I don't have to shop for a new plan every year.
That's
What?
right. Once you enroll, your coverage is guaranteed for as long as you keep this plan. Have questions? Call United Healthcare
That's
now and talk to a
9,000 though.
licensed
That's so
insurance agent or producer.
so much.
They know a lot about what makes these plans smart now and really smart later. Or just ask for this
True.
free guide. Benefits and rates
Order
in one
canceled.
place, so it's easy to compare options. Year to year, 94% of
That
members
point
renew
number
their
3 or
plan.
4
And
for your
Medicare supplement plans with the
PTT.
AARP name are
Order
the only
submitted.
Medicare supplement plans endorsed
Nice,
by AARP,
nice.
meeting their high standards of service and quality. So give United Healthcare a call
Yeah,
today
they were
and
bugging
set
me,
yourself
DMing me,
and your
say,
future self
hey,
up
let's get
with
some
an
cells
AARP
in.
Medicare
Getting no
supplement plan
cells.
from United Healthcare.
Winnie, look at you! Thanks again for looking out for me.
No cells. Like I haven't sold any of those
Medicare
straight to
supplement
fund.
plan from United Healthcare. Smart now, really
Yeah.
smart later.
Not really. The only thing they had now is $99 for new customers, but I sent them a lot of new customer last 2 months. Not much new you get.
We never lose focus on the life you
I'll focus more on it though. I do like them. Nice people.
Design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
We have to be able to say we did everything we could.
This is about justice.
It's okay if you don't want to.
How you gonna say, oh no, all you gotta do is flip, man?
We're gonna fight for you.
New Law and Order Thursday on NBC and Peacock.
How do you fuck up flipping?
Watching Tesla today as we do
Oh, you probably had to make a certain amount, right? Like $10 or something.
Of a Model Y SUV today, Jim. There's that.
Oh my
and Ford's
God.
down 4 on this aluminum plant fire.
Going back and forth with Jim Farley, I mean, there's really some help. There is a way that they may avoid the complete downside that we're talking about. Remember, they did much better under with the president recently, and that's worth.
And you make me want to get Top Step.
He hasn't been able to confirm yet exactly how bad, but he thinks
It's so expensive.
there could be a workaround, and that could help significantly. And that's as of about 10
Yeah.
seconds ago.
That's good. Important to watch. Mercedes had Q3 sales, not great, down in China, down here.
Oh my God, down 27% in China.
Yeah.
Germany must be so hurting. Wow.
Okay, so no, it's not topping out yet, so we still got
We do
room.
have S&P Nasdaq all-time highs once again. Stay with us.
Not much. 15 minutes like topping out, but it's not top yet.
Public, the high yield cash account's
But
a no-brainer.
I don't think it's good to
I know
long
my money's
anymore.
working hard
It's
for
short
me,
at
and I know I can
maybe
access it anytime I need.
255,
It's
260.
very
Keep
simple.
shorting that
Better
area.
rates mean faster growth, and that's exactly what I need.
It was choppy at open. It didn't really do much, and then it just slow grind up.
I used to think I was never meant to be beautiful. I was teased because of my
Yeah, I don't think anybody's
I
blowing
didn't
up
like
right
the
now.
person
It's
looking back at me in
not
the
much
mirror.
movement.
I never thought I could afford dental implants. You and your team worked within my budget and helped me feel confident in the plan we made together. I love my new smile. Thank you.
Congratulations, Cynthia. Introducing our new lifetime warranty on zirconia arches.
Yeah,
Only
60 I'll short too. That's a good spot to short.
Consultation. The GrillBot is the world's first and only automatic grill cleaner. The onboard computer chip creates a randomized pattern with each of the 3 brushes, ensuring full coverage of your grill, deep cleaning every corner. The GrillBot works with hot or cold grills, so you can use it before
I need to hurry and
or
finish
after
this
you
Traday's
grill. Check
eval
out the
because
GrillBot, available
almost
in
time.
black or red.
I
Try
want to
the
renew.
GrillBot risk-free for 60 days with our no questions asked satisfaction guarantee. Go to grillbots.com today.
In our previous home, we had wood, and I never liked it. I wanted a sustainable option, and that made TimberTech the obvious choice for me. I love the indoor-outdoor living. I mean, to be honest, the decks have made it even better. I'm so happy with it.
Thursday, live from Macau, Contessa Brewer takes us inside the world's largest gambling hub. And Friday, the return of the NBA to China after a 6-year timeout. Macau Gaming and the NBA. Special reports all day and streaming on CNBC+.
Make a smooth transition from saving for retirement to living in it. With a free personalized
No, bot's
plan
not short
that can help
yet.
you make your money last. No matter where your days take you, Fidelity can help you take on retirement.
A Chewy pharmacy order is on the way for Gouda.
Yeah, Apex still pending?
His dislike of taking meds.
Has it been
matched
approved?
only
No.
by his
Okay.
love of cheese. So mom pairs the meds Chewy delivers with the finest
They
fromage.
ghosted me about the those
Chewy's licensed
emails about those people getting
Mom
banned.
knows these are
They never
quality
reply back.
meds for a quality boy.
Why is
All
it gonna
Gouda
help?
knows is it's delicious. For quality meds at great prices, for life with pets, there's Chewy Pharmacy.
And if I wear a sweater, I'm not going to be able to see. Oh, hey, there you are. Are you ready to go watch some more me? No, not this time. I'm wide awake. I'm not going to fall.
Let's get to Jim and stop trading.
About stocks that have come down so much that maybe they can bounce. Take a look at McCormick. Okay, so McCormick spikes down $1.40, yields 2.69%, still has 22 PE. But Brendan Foley did a good job. The miss was not because of volume. It was just because of
But they're short soon.
China. They had some problems, and I think
Let me
that's
see.
a company that could be due for
Yeah,
a bounce. If we get a
still
Pepsi
looks good
bounce.
to short
I
later.
do think that there's money
Maybe
rotating to
260.
the areas that are not participating. That's a different kind of money that I'm talking about being made in terms of like the Jensen money. when we see Jensen at 1. There are amazing people who the cynicism about how great we are is really disabling. Both parties participate in the idea that we're just not great.
You don't think that they're looking at the behavior of gold or the dollar and thinking there's some anxiety.
No, you're absolutely
Too late. My thing gets hit. I didn't even cancel. Oh well.
$1 trillion in debt.
260 is my short now.
But I just want people to not be blind to the idea of the wealth creation that we talk
You
about
agree?
that Michael Dell is doing right now, that Lisa Su is doing right now. And it's not like they're saying you can't have this. They're saying you can have it, but you insist on being just an index funds. I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but I'm just 1 of 500. And these people are not 1 of 500. There are some people just like Orwell. Some of them are more evil.
We can't wait for 4 o'clock.
Oh, well, I'm so excited today.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter texted me. She said,
Order
don't take any wood nickels or something.
Order
My father
filled.
used to say before I went to
Order
school
filled.
every morning. But it's to the point
go.
everyone just
Order
wants
submitted.
to know. And it's going to be a little more celebratory than it is going to be investing.
Sure, yeah, of course. And it's here?
It's here.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
And what can I
Order
say?
filled.
I am in awe of him. I know you're not supposed to be. I know
Order
we're all critical
submitted.
reporters who I grew up in the Woodward and Bernstein era, but some people transcend that.
Well, they did say follow the money.
Order submitted.
Yeah, that's right.
Follow the money.
Jim, we'll see you this afternoon and tonight. By the way, cnbc.com/monthly
Order filled.
meeting.
Yes.
If you want to be a part of it.
I mean, come on, stop it already. Join.
For the time being, a little bit of split market
Order
here. Dow
submitted.
down 5, S&P up 6 or 7. Don't go anywhere.
I'm out.
I'm feeling more confident about the future after reviewing my choices with Voya. Have you updated your workplace benefits and retirement savings?
No, but I am really going to think about it at some point.
Don't just think about a strong future. Plan for one with Voya. Plan, invest, protect.
When was the last time you made a return like this? Options often offer higher returns than stocks, cost less, and can reduce risk. Learn how in our new book. Get your free copy at itsnotanoption.com. Itsnotanoption.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, every week you learn something new and you can immediately just jump right in and use those skills.
Yep.
Because of my degree from UMGC, I feel confident. I have the background when I walk into any room.
Investing. You buy low, sell high, jump on that
Yeah,
trend,
I have
ride the wave. Stop. That's not how investing works. You're not a child playing a game. This is grown-up business. The real thing. You know wealth isn't won in a bet. Luck is not a strategy, and success demands discipline. You're serious about investing, right?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work on TPT.
Silver is at a 10-year high. Kootenai Silver boasts one of the largest resources owned by a junior company. With the new high-grade discovery in Mexico, the potential for growth and leverage to silver is significant. Kootenai Silver.
Oh, come on, pump again. Don't dump yet.
Apparently, this is also turkey. But only one actually looks like turkey. Since only one is gently cooked without the ultra-processing.
Order canceled.
And only one is human grade. Because
Order
good ingredients
submitted.
matter. But the best recipes call for so much more. Get 50% off your first box, available only at thefarmersdog.com.
What if we start going after the big banks? We grow into more countries, go into Europe, we go into US. Standing here today, 20 years later, we actually disrupt the whole retail banking industry. The retail banking industry has made too much money and
Order
hasn't taken
canceled.
the best interest of its customers. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Billions we're giving back in zero
Order
interest to our
submitted.
customers.
I can't do an MNQ. I gotta switch now. I'm gonna try NQ.
Never miss a moment.
I think lower rates, you're going to find more people buying homes. I think you just need lower rates to sort of fuel the economy.
There's a million people shortage, from technicians and dealerships, factory workers, plumbers and electricians.
The labor market for small businesses continued to have a very slight change to what we've seen all year. It's a stable job growth, and there's really no signs of recession.
right.
Tuesday
Later,
morning.
bud.
Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla. We are live from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. David Faber has the morning off. Coming up this hour, Toma Bravo, managing partner Orlando Bravo, will join us here at Post 9 as hundreds of billions of dollars flow around the AI ecosystem. We'll talk about where the tech buyout firm is putting money to work right now. Plus, former Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan will be with us to talk about the shutdown's impact on the Fed and on the economy. And that's where we start today, Carl. We don't have the official economic data coming out, so everyone's trying to figure out what's happening, particularly on jobs, especially because this is a time where the market was starting to worry about what the job market is showing, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the data. So what can we do? Well, we can work with what we've got. And so I put together a few sort of real-time indicators or leading indicators to show us what we might be seeing on jobs if we were to have gotten a jobs report, which we didn't because of the shutdown.
Bot's been long since 3 a.m.
They looked across all
At
businesses.
171,
Remember,
so
they own a lot of
it's
businesses
been a
in
while. You
private
don't want to
equity.
follow
They
it no
have,
more.
I think more than 700,000 people working for them. So here's what they're estimating.
It's like 100 points already, so don't
17,000
follow it.
jobs added in the month of September. And that would be a step down from what we saw in August, which was 22,000, but also sort of jibes with the weaker jobs growth we've seen lately. Remember, June, according to revisions, actually went negative on job growth. So that's what they're estimating. And then the other one that I always point out is the NFIB hiring intentions. This is from the Small Business Report, Small Business Sentiment. They poll small businesses about what their plans are to hire. It's a leading indicator, and actually, you know, Pantheon Macro says it's one of the best indicators with a 4-month lag. So in other words, we saw the downturn a couple months ago. We're starting to see the weak data. Pantheon notes the uptick recently in small business hiring intentions and is higher than consensus on September jobs. Actually says we could see 70,000. So just a few sort of things out there. People are looking at the Indeed job openings data. People are looking at ADP, which did come out, showed weakness, job losses for the month, and trying to figure out where the trend is right now. Doesn't look like stocks seem to mind, though.
No.
Maybe out of sight, out of mind.
No, where the market is accentuating something entirely different than the consumer or macro or employment. It's all about this industrial revolution. Even Daly today didn't seem that in her comments to Axios. Doesn't think it's much of a financial bubble because the companies are so strong, and thinks that whatever disruption comes, society as a whole is going to benefit from the change in technology.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's hard to deny the fact that that's what's moving the economy and the market is the incredible capital spending that is going into AI and how that's playing out. I mean, I'll just give you one more on the jobs front to just sort of show you the trend. We got the conference board last week. This is consumer confidence, and it was a little bit lower because people were worried about jobs. Here's the employment trends index, and it's trending down, right? We know that. People are more worried about getting a job, and that's apparently a very good coincident indicator. Pantheon looked at some of the correlations, which shows
that drop.
their
Wow. Should have shorted at
16.1%
40.
anticipate more jobs. That was down from 18% in August.
It looks like it's one to
according
drop
to the
some more,
conference board.
too.
Almost 26%
Oh, well.
anticipated fewer jobs, down slightly from 25.9
Move
jobs.
my short
The
to
picture
37.
overall is sluggish job market, at least on the hiring front. The good news is we haven't really seen much in the way of firing. We don't get the jobless claims because of the shutdown,
Later,
but that had
bud.
been the trend going in.
Right. And Sarah's right. We're relying more on the private data because of the shutdown, officially reaching 1 week today, and some mixed signals from the president over the last 24 hours about a possible pathway to resolution. Our Emily Wilkins has the latest in D.C. Morning, Emily.
Good morning, Carl. Well, yeah, there might be a crack in the shutdown stalemate. We're going to have to see. But Trump saying last night he is open to working with Democrats on some sort of solution on health care. Of course, then he went on Truth Social shortly after and said that he would only be open to that after the Democrats vote with Republicans to reopen the government. And, you know, I was on Capitol Hill last night talking with some Republican senators. They really mirrored that they do want to have these conversations. They want to work with Democrats, but they can't do anything until the government is reopened. You've heard Senator Mark Wayne Mullen talk to me a little bit about some triggers in the process to make sure discussions go forward. And you had Susan Collins, who was apparently walking around with a folder that actually contained a agreement that she's talking about with Republicans and Democrats with something that would basically say to Democrats, hey, if you give us the votes to reopen the government, we promise to work with you on a solution here to those Affordable Care Act tax credits, which of course are expiring at the end of the year, although Americans are expected to see their premiums rise much sooner than that. We do have another vote that is set to happen today. Hasn't been scheduled yet timing-wise, but it would be the 6th vote to try to
3 minutes has a squeeze to the
November
upside
21st.
though.
Last night we didn't see any movement. We saw sort of the same folks voting for and against.
No,
But
short's
we
gonna
do
be good
have
yet.
Senator Angus King to watch today. Now he's an independent. He caucuses with the Democrats though, and he's been one of the 3 to cross the lines and vote with Republicans on opening the government. But King told reporters last night that unless he sees some more movement
Bot went short on ES,
Care Act tax credits, he
and
actually
bot went short on no, just ES
Remember,
only.
Republicans need to get 8 Senate Democrats here to be able to open the government, where they currently have 3. Now they might have 2. So we're keeping a very close eye today to see if there's an off-ramp in either terms of these Affordable Care Act negotiations, or if pressure is going to continue to build on the Democrats as the shutdown goes on. Guys?
Figure out where the pressure is going to come from that might break this stalemate. And it's not coming from the markets, which continue to hit record highs every day. Some people are looking at October 15th, Emily, as a day where military members will
short
not
hit.
get paid. As that as a potential catalyst,
I have one short on the
I guess
eval
later on
at 37.
the Obamacare health exchanges start to open up and people might have trouble getting access to insurance.
Yes, Sarah, there might not be much that's bipartisan on Capitol Hills nowadays, but supporting the military most certainly is. And yes, that October 15th, the military members not getting their pay is certainly going to be a tension point. We know also around that time is when some federal workers will either not get their first paycheck or only get a partial paycheck. That's going to be another pain point. And yes, on November 1st, when the Affordable Care Act marketplace opens up and folks begin to enroll and see that their insurance premiums have increased, there are some estimates it's going to go up 75%, some estimates it's going to double. That's going to be another pain point. And so remember, there are discussions here on trying to move forward with extending these tax credits, but that is going to take some time. That's not something that can happen overnight. And so what Republicans seem to be asking Democrats for now is allow the government to reopen, give us the time we need to have these discussions, and we promise you that we will get to something. Of course, remember, even if they do reopen the government, that's only going to be until November 21st. So there is another potential deadline here at which Democrats can use the shutdown as potential leverage for getting a deal done.
Emily, appreciate that. Emily Wilkins in D.C. on day 7. Thank you. Let's continue with the impact of the shutdown on the economy. Joining us here at Post 9 this morning is Robert Kaplan, Goldman Sachs Vice Chairman, Management Committee member, and former Dallas Fed President. Of course, Rob, it's good to have you in. Thanks for joining us. I mean, is
Are you long or short?
Competition for this wave of tech investment that the markets and transfer?
Are you long? That's a good long then. Cut the bottom.
I mean, on the margin, it will mean the economy is a little slower than it might have been. But I think the markets are pricing what they think is going to happen the next 2 or 3 years. Regulatory relief, tax incentives coming, AI, data center, power boom. That's what's fueling the market, not what's going on in the current economy.
So are expectations for a reacceleration in economic activity legitimate, reasonable?
I think it's legitimate, yes. The issue we're seeing in the job market is, in my view, the market is sluggish, but there's a lot of mismatches. So there may be a view that people are changing their hiring in anticipation of AI. There's lots of open jobs, though, we're seeing in the construction, service sector, other sector. And the problem is either because of geographic inability to move or aspiration, you know, college graduate doesn't want those jobs. There's plenty of jobs, but we've got a mismatch. Normally, that takes some time to resolve.
Also, immigration. I mean, subtracting immigration from it means fewer jobs, right?
This will be the lowest labor force growth we've had in, I can't remember when, because we have not only shut off lax immigration, which makes sense.
Came back up.
But we haven't
it dropped
legal immigration,
pretty
and
good.
we have not clarified the status on something like 12 to 15 million workers that are in the workforce, actively working, but some of them are not going to work because they're unsure of their status.
What do you think is happening with inflation? I mean, let's hope they reopen by next week so we get a CPI report. But I remember talking to you, Robert, how it's the fiscal spending. The spigot was just open for so long, and that
It'll
it's
drop
impossible
later.
to really fight inflation until that calms down. Where do you think we are now?
We're running well above target in the neighborhood of 2.75%. And the issue has been, everybody's talking about goods and the tariffs. Ground zero of the inflation issue is still services. We're running in the mid-threes, but we're not getting the goods disinflation we were getting. So inflation's going sideways, and this is why if I'm at the Fed, I want to be very careful not to go too much further with rate cuts when you've got inflation this much above target. I'd need to be convinced that the weakness in the labor market is sustained or maybe getting worse, because I think the neutral rate is not that much below where the Fed is right now.
Why are services inflation still so high?
Part of it is
Order
rents, part of it is we've got a very tight labor force, so it's been sticky. And I think some of the tariff inflation we hear from clients may be bleeding into services.
Well, Costin did a report on Monday or over the weekend arguing that the impact of tariffs on Q3 earnings is going to be about a third more intense than it was in Q2.
Yeah, so we're seeing some margin erosion because of it. Having said that, big companies can manage it. Yes,
Order
they'll have some
submitted.
margin erosion. What we're seeing more pronounced is if you're a small business and you rely on imports, I think they're having active discussions about whether they can stay in business, and we're hearing more and more of that.
And that gets reflected, I think, in some of the qualitative commentary. Dallas Fed, Empire Fed. You get comments like, "We may have to shut the business."
That's right, and I think part of the sluggishness in the labor market and in hiring is due to what's going on with small business. Having said that, as we get to the end of the year, you've got a number of tailwinds that are powerful that could potentially cause some firming, at least, or reacceleration. And that's why the Fed's got to be very, very careful.
So when you say you don't want them to go too much farther, you think one more is appropriate, or do we not know?
So the way I would look at it, my own view is the neutral rate right now. Most aggressive case I can make for the neutral rate is it's in the neighborhood of 3.5%, 3.75%. That's
All
different
right,
than
come
other
on,
people
drop
have
it.
said. That's
Let's go.
2.75% inflation and 0.75% to 1% real. Okay, we're at 4.25% right now.
So there's room.
There's not much. You
They can
cut
still
one
cut.
more time, and the problem is with inflation above target, I'm not sure I want to be at neutral. And the other comment I would make, which is lost sometimes in this discussion, above target inflation is a regressive tax on 85 million workers, American workers who make 55 grand a year or less, have lost 25% purchasing power.
They don't own
this year.
stocks.
They don't have financial assets, and they're struggling to make ends meet. And I'm very
Order
sensitive
filled.
to the impact of inflation running above target and continuing to on that group.
So if you were on the Fed still, would you be done?
Sup,
I would
Gambit?
be, because of the shutdown, it would probably push me to
Order filled.
be more positive inclined about October, but the bar for me
Order
would go
submitted.
way up
Hey.
after October. I really need to see more evidence.
It's early?
I think the market may be overpricing the probability of
submitted.
December.
I know you've been going a lot
Well, into
lately.
next year,
Is it because of
that
her?
The president is going to get his pick.
You
for
still
new
talking to
Fed
her or
chair
no?
next year, and the expectation is someone very
Oh,
dovish.
it's stupid.
And
It's
we'll
the
see a lot of
dentist,
rate
man.
cuts. Is that going to collide with your higher inflation expectations?
So all I can do is put myself in the shoes if I were in my former job or giving advice to people who are in the seat now. And I would say with inflation this much above target, you really got to be convinced that the labor market is weakening. Otherwise,
It's
I
not
would say...
that much above target. I mean, it's not in the threes. It's certainly not where we were in the last few
So
years.
here's the issue, is it's at least 3/4 above target, and it's not heading toward target. So in the fall of last year, it looked to me it was starting to inch toward 2%. It's not now. It's going sideways, maybe inching up a little bit. That's the problem.
Finally, when Ken Griffin argues that he's worried people are seeing gold as safer than the dollar as we get futures above 4K, do you think that's a reasonable point of view?
It's a reasonable point of view, and that the 10-year Treasury is not behaving like a safe haven right now. Gold is acting like the safe haven. Normally, when there's stress in the government, there's geopolitical issues, you would see a bigger rally in the 10-year. We haven't seen that. Now, there's a duration stickiness issue around the world, not just here, but I would say there's concern with all the uncertainty and the fact that still we're on track before tariffs to run a very large deficit, and we have to continue to show that we're making progress on deleveraging. We're not really... Jury's out on that still.
But maybe it's not.
Come on, drop some more. I want to get out my short.
I mean, it's not an environment where you would flock to safety.
I would tell you gold being up almost 40% year to date, if that should be getting our attention. That's a red light that we ought to be paying attention to.
Rob, thanks for coming in. Good to talk to you as always, Robert Kaplan.
Here's our roadmap for you for the rest of the hour. Billionaire tech investor Orlando Bravo will be here to talk about whether or not the huge amount of money flowing around AI is giving flashbacks to the dot-com bubble.
Will agentic AI end up being a net negative for some retailers? We'll talk to an analyst who says 2 names in particular may be at risk.
And details behind Intercontinental Exchange's decision to invest up to $2 billion in Polymarket. Squawk on the Street will be right back after break with the Dow down 22, but the S&P higher.
Yeah, 15 minutes looks like it's topping out. It's gonna drop a couple hours from now. It's not gonna stay up. I should short on my cash if we get 270.
People who understand the value of experienced, highly skilled professionals.
What'd he say?
You'll have access to a team of specialists chosen specifically for your circumstances to help you build the life you want.
Yeah, but I need your stuff in it. I want your business card, proof that you work for the company now. Before, I just gotta have the email. So they want the business email too. So if it doesn't match up, they're not gonna give you.
Management begins and ends with you.
Yeah, it's been strict the last 2 years.
The more powerful the result.
But I don't know if how it is now. They didn't reply back, so I don't know if they just swamp or something's going on.
Experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Yeah, I think last year they got K-pop guy, there's G-Dragon was there, but last year's actually really bad, and the year before that it was bad too. So I think this year's gonna be bad too because none of the Asian people is gonna come because of the visa thing with Trump.
Before you get married, we need to have the talk.
Not right now, Dad. I need to go for my vows. Is L. Duncan going to talk to me about
setting a budget when you bet? I heard that you won that long shot parlay, but that you haven't won since. Just because you win big once doesn't mean you figured it all out.
Still need to have that talk about
Celebrating love. That is what today is all about. At ESPN, we believe the best play is a smart play.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The beards, here. The deets, the backhands, the OB goals, all here. Comebacks are here. Bucci is here. Barn burners, thousands of them. Trade alerting, here. The fans, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Welcome back. We are just over 30 minutes into the trading session. Here are 3 big movers we're watching. Shares of Minerals Explorer Trilogy Metals, excuse me.
You faded out. What happened? You're up a lot.
17% higher after the White House said it would take a 10% stake in the company as part of a broader push to unlock domestic supply of copper
Text
and
me.
minerals in Alaska.
Can't be that much. Oh, can you reset those pros?
Before that
Yeah.
announcement. Meantime, Dell shares are gaining as the company kicks off its analyst day, raising
How
annual
much?
revenue growth target
Hold on, how
to
much?
7 to 9% from a prior 3 to 4%.
They said
CEO
20 or
Dell
40?
joined Closing bell overtime for a first on CNBC interview, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Holy
and then
shit, that's a
Intercontinental
lot.
Exchange, ICE shares popping on news that the New York Stock Exchange owner plans to invest as much as $2 billion in the platform, the betting platform, Polymarket. Very interesting. Seema Modi joins
Yeah,
us
but
now
the
with
spending
details
is a
behind
lot.
that deal. I guess if you can't beat them, join them.
Holy crap, that's a lot of reset.
On this investment, Atlas Merchant Capital's David Seamus, I caught up with him this morning. His firm recently acquiring Hype, and he tells me that this is just another example of the traditional finance world.
They don't have to wait 5 days.
The important role decentralized markets using blockchain.
I know why you do it. A lot of people do it because they don't want to do the 5 days. They just want it right now and get the daily payouts right away.
Exchange at the center of the two fastest growing trends in the exchange and trading space, which is retail prediction markets and tokenization. Here's what Polymarket CEO Shane Copland told CNBC last hour.
His willingness.
It's still good though. You're still green.
Let's go and leverage this infrastructure to go and innovate and disrupt the existing legacy systems and go and try to figure out the new
submitted.
new world. You know, you just can't pass that up.
Order submitted.
Price tag valuation getting a lot of attention. Just in June of this year, Polymarket reportedly raised $200 million at a valuation of $1 billion, followed by today's $2 billion investment from ICE, which would value the betting prediction market platform at about $8 billion. And it secured an investment from 1789 Capital, which is backed by Donald Trump Jr. earlier this year.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
About 250,000 users, which is more than its
At least you're green though.
So one to watch, especially within the sports betting platform space, guys.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Sprecher on Squawk this morning talk about just the degree to which legacy and the whole reason ICE exists, he argues, is because back in coming out of the dot-com bust, a lot of technology, a lot of companies were unwilling to innovate the way they appear to be willing to do so now.
And 10 years ago, we probably wouldn't even thought that this type of investment synergy would make sense.
But then,
to your point,
but people want the daily payouts. That's why they do it.
Finding these opportunities for these type of exchanges seems like it makes sense. Now we got to just understand over time, Carl, what the return on investment truly is.
Right. Seema, thanks. Seema Modi this morning watching ICE and Polymarket. Still ahead, billionaire tech investor Orlando Bravo is with us today on the massive amount of money flowing in the public and private markets around the AI trade. A lot of excitement after OpenAI brought shopping to their ChatGPT platform. But could it actually be a bad thing for some
sound like you're
retailers?
crying.
We'll talk about that. And after the break, Tesla fans expecting an announcement today, although not helping shares much in early trade. We'll get to the story and what Tesla may say today when we come back.
At Morgan Stanley, old school hard work meets bold new thinking.
I was trading when I was in Vegas.
To help you see untapped possibilities and relentlessly work with you to make them real.
Don't buy another stock before reading this book, because when you see the returns you could be making on options versus stocks, you'll realize that in today's market, buying and holding stocks alone, it's not an option. The simple, beginner-friendly option strategies you'll learn in our new book could take your investing returns to a whole new level. And today, we'll give you a copy for free.
I got the book and I read it in a weekend, and it's just like, wow, kind of opened up a whole new avenue of investing for me I never knew was possible.
On a measurable level, I'm being successful. I have a couple stocks, but I don't have many of them anymore. It's all options for me.
I will not go out and buy shares anymore. I just buy options.
I would say if you were considering learning from John and Pete for options, it's a no-brainer. You're learning from guys who 25 plus years in the business.
I highly recommend everyone gets John and Pete's book because there's nothing else out there like it.
Get your free copy while they last at itsnotanoption.com. Itsnotanoption.com.
Too bad you didn't take any pictures though.
A heart attack? Do they have life insurance?
No.
But we have life insurance. John.
I'm trying to find something we can afford.
Fortunately, in only a few minutes, SelectQuote found John a $500,000 policy for only $29 a month. And his wife Ann a $500,000 policy for only $21 a month. Go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs
at a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Light. It guides our every waking moment.
She's nice.
And how we do it. But the amount of light we need can change in an instant.
I wasn't gonna say that. I don't tell anybody.
You can control it. 3-day blinds.
No, never.
The light for your
never.
Visit 3dayblinds.com to get started.
Man, you should be happy. 8 days of payouts, still good. I mean,
Hello?
But look at you now.
don't be sad, man. You should be Yeah, you should still be a little bit sad because it's the bad way to go though.
Accounting, advisory, insurance, and more. CBIZ, insights that impact.
Start streaming. Go to cnbc.com/plus now.
Every day, I'm checking the markets throughout the trading session, working the phones, talking to sources to share insights, information, and all of the details that you need to make money.
Closing bell overtime for Easter and streaming on CNBC Plus.
Oh, it wasn't the chart. It wasn't the chart that changes. It's just I didn't know that.
Around today's teased release event, multiple reports say it could be a cheaper version of the Model Y using less premium materials.
Oh, that's weird. I've never seen that.
Definitely in the red after a Wall Street Journal report on the impact of this large fire at a key supplier's plant, aluminum maker Novelis, which sells around 40%.
So you made 2,000 with MNQ on the other one?
Automakers and will now be offline until next year.
It's one thing after another for these automakers in the
I know,
supply
but
chain.
you did all that with MNQ.
CNBC News update. Courtney Reagan has it for us this morning. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Sarah. Attorney General.
That smelled BS.
is
I'm sorry.
For the Senate Judiciary Committee, the panel is expected to cover a number of topics, including the recent indictment of former FBI
I know.
sex offender Jeffrey
I
Epstein.
know milk.
She's also expected to be grilled about the Trump administration's crime crackdown in U.S. cities. A U.S. delegation will join the indirect peace talks between Israel and Hamas tomorrow, according to Egypt's top diplomat. The foreign minister says the negotiations so far have covered the phases
I'll check
of
later,
Israeli
Gambit.
withdrawal from
It should
Gaza, as well as the details
149. Why is he upcharging you? It should be free.
Today marks 2 years since Hamas's
Is that your
surprise attack
cousin?
on Israel, which triggered the war. And Italy plans to submit a proposal for a worldwide ceasefire to the United Nations ahead of next year's Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. The concept of a global truce dates back to the ancient games in Greece when warring factions agreed to put down their arms for the duration of the event, but calls for
Trying to
ceasefire
set the race for the straight to funded.
Maybe they can be this time. Sarah, back over to you.
Yeah, it's the first week of January.
Constellation shares jumping following strong numbers from the alcohol seller. What it means for other
Yep,
down
this-
beverage names. Straight ahead.
Told you to short every time. We might. No, Bot's not going short yet.
And whether or not the AI trade is in a bubble. Don't go anywhere.
I'll bounce.
Real-time exchange sector sort is sponsored
Yeah, let
by
me get
Sector
this
Spider ETFs.
thing out. Where's my...
Welcome to the Now Way to Network. They switched to Juniper's AI
I
data
lied.
network. And now everyone's so productive, they're operating at a higher gear. That's
It's
the
different.
Now Way
It's
to
different
Network.
area, Gambit. It's a different area.
Putting you in the fast lane.
I wish I wasn't afraid to smile.
I wish I could get implants.
Well, CES is usually around 600-700.
I'm not looking for another quick fix.
I want a smile I know will last.
Clear Choice smiles are made to stand the test
What?
of time.
Oh, when you were in
They're built
Cali,
by
yeah.
dental implant experts.
I said not
Backed by
not in
20 years
Texas.
of pioneering research and a lifetime warranty on premium arches. Our smiles are built for life. Schedule your free consultation today.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 Gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-888-517-8568, and you are guaranteed a $10 Gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These Gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your
Just
hand.
go next year, dude. I'll go next year. The kids be gone. So.
1-888-517-8568. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package. A $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-888-517-8568 now. to
Yeah,
secure your
it was free for
$10
me for
Gold
5
Liberty
years.
coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-888-517-8568.
6 to the 10? From where? What airline? Yeah, that's why. No, 160 is cheap. I usually pay like 600-700 for the whole staff each. It's up to you. You want to go? I'm for sure I'll go next year, but let me know how it is this year. I was told a lot of my people that I talked to, they're not gonna go this year, and most of them from like
sunny
Europe.
Spot to garden, lots of natural light, a place for everyone. No matter what kind of home you're looking for, it's waiting for you on
It's
Redfin.
the Tradeify.
And when you find it, see it before anyone else. Book a showing right now only on Redfin.
Don't
Find
have
your
any
dream
large. I only
on
have
Redfin,
like medium.
powered by Rocket.
Don't worry about it, dude. Cause I don't have a booth or anything if I'm not going.
Private market deal activity is on the rise big time, with OpenAI leading the charge, topping $1 trillion now in computing deals, according to a new piece in the Financial Times. AMD, just the latest stake announced yesterday following those new Stargate partnerships earlier this month, and then the massive NVIDIA investment back in September. Our next guest
You should go more than just one. Like going by yourself, you don't know anything. You're gonna be so lost, dude. So you need someone else.
Managing partner Orlando Bravo joins us
You
now.
sure?
Welcome. It's good to have you.
Sarah, it's great to
It's
be here.
huge, dude.
Thanks for having me.
So all of these deals, particularly around OpenAI, are they distorting?
Oh, you didn't go.
private
I thought you went solo last
I don't
time.
think so. I mean, isn't it an astonishing amount of money?
It's mind-blowing.
And how quickly it is moving.
3
Now,
minutes.
for enterprise software, which is the area that we focus on, that $1.5 trillion economy, this is a huge tailwind. All these
Nope, the
investments is becoming
TV.
clear.
And let's go start. I think you're on there, Rocky. Yeah, you're on there. I see you, Rocky. I really hope you win, Milk. It doesn't look like it, though. There you go, Rocky. I hope you win. You still trading Gambit? Oh. Who's gonna win? No way! No way, Lynn! No! Oh! Almost won! Wow! I guess you actually won. That was close. You came up. Were you watching No, you didn't win. It's the other person.
It is a contrarian bet.
Congrats, bud.
I think you raise a great point, right? The easiest area for AI and agents to take over, right, as you can see it as an individual or an investor, is a call center. Very difficult areas to run, very difficult operationally, very difficult to recruit people.
All right, thanks.
And train
Just
people to
tag
give
me.
customers a good service. It's never really been done. AI is so additive to it. Now, the companies that we're putting together in that space, we believe have next generation AI solutions and offer customers a full platform versus point solutions and understand the call center environment very well.
In other words, there's value there because they're using AI. It doesn't necessarily mean they're using people.
100%. We believe that.
Ooh, we lost 200.
It's not a function of you believe that humans will not be displaced. There will be some displacement
bot.
of human capital.
Yeah, bot's heading up to short soon. If we go back to 225, I'm gonna short.
But this massive human displacement that people talk about, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's why you short.
we always, and I think I said it in the past when I've been here with you, technology and how it interacts.
I can never long all-time highs. I just keep shorting. If I blow, I blow.
People in companies have processes, regulations.
That's your Twitter? I'll send you a DM. Congrats, man.
All kinds of things that enable them only to move slowly to adapt new ways of doing things. So this is going to take time. Look, I was at Super Return in May of this year, and I was talking to one of your colleagues, and somebody had said that
I was shorting gold this morning.
70% of all jobs, white-collar jobs, are going to be gone. And somebody at the conference said, all of you here, 2/3 of the people won't have a job. All those people still have a job. So somebody better hurry up.
Yeah, I can't even DM you on Twitter.
Roughly the same. Once again, evolutionary changes, not revolutionary.
You've been very active, I think so, since October 1st, 2024. You've closed acquisitions and announced acquisitions representing more than.
Can you follow me? If you follow me, I can DM you.
Deal ever in August for Dayforce, which was more than $12 billion. So, what is it about the environment now? Is it this AI tailwind you're talking about that's leading you to be such a big buyer? And does it continue?
Nothing special about today. We have always been extremely busy. That's why I keep coming back and reporting and having conversations with you. Because
sometimes you're buying more than selling. Sometimes you're selling more than buying.
It could happen, but the trick and the key to our business is consistency.
Yeah, send me a DM because I can't DM you.
That is really the key, and the key to the industry in general. Look, our business in private equity is about alpha. It's not about market timing. So we should be able to buy a great software company that we can add a lot of value to in that $1.5 trillion economy at any time. But we should be able to turn that asset into cash consistently so our investors can come back to us and replenish us with capital again.
When people ask you about AI's impact on coding or writing software, what do you tell them? Is it when you talk about the difference in speed, the difference in the number of programmers?
Oh, I didn't invite Big E, Gambit. He has to get in. Yeah, I didn't invite him. Nah. Yeah, Bob went short.
If you look at all the software companies out there, where this is a core competency of theirs,
yeah, he say he doesn't drink anymore.
You don't. We don't. So we have about the same number of developers in our $30 billion
I'll wait for a little bounce, then I'll short with the bot. I think it's a good short because 15 minutes got a lot of room to drop.
And less expensive products, and products that they can adapt to what the customer needs quicker. Once again, it just adds value to software. Now, it's very interesting. We've been talking about contrarian spaces. You think about cybersecurity and AI, and the problem that AI, or the challenge that it poses for cybersecurity. You look at our public company SailPoint as an example. SailPoint secures an identity to what you're able to see to the data. For example, in my company, I can see some certain data and maybe some certain data that I need to go through other hoops to be able to see at the company as an individual. It does that for all human identities. Last week at its user conference, it introduced AI identity management. that is a whole new market for the company that may be multiples of the size of human identities and therefore the growth that I'm talking about.
What is it?
Of AI and software.
So software is an area you're still really bullish on.
Big time.
Yeah. What do exits look like now? Because we're starting to see IPOs come back and deals, strategic buyers.
Look, exits are healthy. The thing is valuations are lower. So as a manager, as a private equity manager, you have to face the reality that these software companies are not selling in the private market for 25 times EBITDA. They're selling closer to 15 times EBITDA. So you better add enough value, that alpha that our industry should create, so that you can still generate the liquidity and the returns to your investors while selling your companies. I think the IPO market is great, and it's wide open. It's just open for the very nice companies, and valuations are a lot more reasonable. We're not going back to 2021 in terms of those revenue multiples.
Feels like you have to have a good AI story too. I mean, there still is this perception that not all software is going to be a winner in the world of AI.
I agree with that. Not all software is going to be a winner in AI. That's why it's important to be a specialist in the space, whether you're in the private market or in the public market.
So when you think about risk factors now, and we kind of covered valuations, but is there anything else that you are worried about going wrong, or you are looking to hedge or be cautious about?
AI. You really have to have a deep understanding of, does your company and the company you're buying have a core competency and is open-minded enough and has the managerial capability to invest in agentic and AI solutions while running a very profitable business? Is that somebody that you can partner with and deploy your model effectively? It's changing. So we were talking about it before I came in the show. I've been working the hardest I've ever worked in 30 years of being in private equity. It's extremely exciting, but it's changing very rapidly.
Why? Because of the new technology?
100%.
That's why you're working harder?
Yes.
You have more interesting deals before you?
We do. Our pipeline is full on both buying and selling. Now, you mentioned why I'm working so hard. Look, I feel that our team, for 30 years, since we started and we're a product of the dot-com bubble burst, has been training all of our lives over 600 software acquisitions for this opportunity that we have now, which is to buy the market leader,
I don't know where to short,
and push it into the next generation of AI.
3 minutes.
Way too exciting to slow
It's
down.
close to the bottom, but not yet.
But then the private equity market is going through a big shakeup right now.
Just put 220.
Have and have not.
220 if it goes up.
Institutions have not had enough liquidity to be able to redeploy the industry. So you're seeing the boards of these big state pension plans and sovereign wealth funds looking at their private equity teams and saying, the performance over 5 years doesn't look that great versus the S&P. The liquidity is not there. Just focus on your top managers only. So it's a flight to quality, and therefore we have that opportunity as well.
It's great to talk to you. Great to get a taste of what you're seeing out there. Orlando, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. I know you're very busy. Busiest you've ever been in your whole career.
Nonstop.
Okay, well, thanks for making time for CNBC. Orlando Bravo.
Thank you.
When we come back, much more on the AI trade and the impact outside of tech. We'll talk about how some retailers could end up getting hurt by this artificial intelligence boom. Speaking of retail, Amazon kicks off a round of sales today as early opening to the holiday shopping season, but will tariffs weigh on holiday demand? We'll talk about that after the break.
Oh, you want me to short go? Let me see. Gotcha. Oh no, goes. No, go looks like it's gonna go up more on the chart, so no short. No short. I'm not shorting yet. I'm scared.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, our students know that every new skill they learn is a new opportunity to further advance their career. That's why we offer an affordable, skills-based education that helps working adults adapt to the growing demands of today's job market. In UMGC's online programs, you can learn how to apply emerging technology like data science and AI, so you can succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu.
Why should you trade options?
I want to short NQ, but I gotta wait now.
Higher returns, are cost effective, and can actually reduce risk. Learn how in our new book. Get a free copy today at itsnotanoption.com. Itsnotanoption.com.
Rather than get rich quick, I believe in get rich slow. The high yield cash account at Public actually had higher rates than anything else I was able to find online. I don't want to be losing sleep over having made risky investments. I needed something stable that could really give me long-term financial benefits.
Later.
I know my money's working hard for me, and I know I can access it anytime I need it.
Thursday, live from Macau, Contessa Brewer takes us inside the world's largest gambling hub. And Friday, the return of the NBA to China after a 6-year timeout. Macau Gaming and the NBA. Special reports all day and streaming on CNBC+. Experience the power of CNBC Pro. Essential investing tools for wealth management. Become a smarter investor with the power of CNBC Pro. Go to cnbc.com/get.
Are you green? Everything's green? Nice, nice.
Bitcoin prices have been on an absolute tear over the last couple of weeks, hitting fresh record highs. But is there still room to run? One trader says yes and is laying out the strategy for how to express that view. Tune into our Market Navigator segment later on today on Power Lunch to find out just how to do it. 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Trading at Schwab.
Are you short gold for real?
Unlocking the power of Thinkorswim.
Okay, I told you don't go short.
Bring your trades into focus on Thinkorswim desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, including over 400 technical studies. Tailor the platforms to your unique needs with nearly endless customization, and track market trends with
Yeah, let me show you the gold chart. I got room for a lot more. Oh, gold bar is gonna be so good.
Asset that you can sell? Hi,
I want to go sell it now.
I'm the CEO of Abacus Life, and for almost 20 years, we've been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you.
What?
In fact, you can use the free policy value calculator.
I actually like this gold bot now.
And in just seconds, you can learn what your policy might be worth. There are no fees and no obligations. Get
Oh, nice shit, dude. Hell yeah.
when you need it with Abacus.
Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. D.A. Davidson out with a piece on the impact of AI on the retail space. This on the heels of that OpenAI news that came out last week, where they announced this instant checkout feature, which allows users to directly buy items through ChatGPT. Joining us this morning is the lead author of the report, D.A. Davidson.
No, I've been waiting.
Analyst Michael Baker. Michael, it's good to have you. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, I think they're hurting because Fundingticks and then the Fundednext, none of them have sales.
You think it's gonna be important, but maybe not in the immediate future?
Well,
yeah, like BB. Oh my gosh, 56,000. Two payouts. That's huge. That's more than what people make in a year. You know what I mean?
For reference, e-commerce started 30 years ago, right?
So what? 2 months and he made that?
And it's still 30 years later. Just under 30% of total retail sales, excluding autos and gas.
Yeah, you can just run it up.
0.7% a year in terms of penetration. So it's sort of in the slow progression.
Yeah.
Agentic commerce can maybe accelerate that a little bit, but we think we're pretty far off. OpenAI just kicked it off with Etsy. They're going to start working with Spotify, but again, very early in this process. That being said, it's certainly on investors' minds. We've been on the road talking to investors, and this topic is coming up more and that's why we put out the report, just to sort of get in front of it.
Right. You make the point that a bot is going to be much more efficient at finding the cheapest item.
Should I keep going on my TPT Pro or just log off? It's only $120, not much.
Some potential positives and some negatives. One of the positives is the bot will be better.
Yeah, but I'm kind of greedy today.
So less cart abandonment.
I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas in November. Finally.
That's a positive, but it is going to
you ain't going. He's me and my wife. I mean, you can go if you want. We can meet up, but I guess you can stay in the sofa. I'll ask her. No, me and the wife. She gets a 3-day weekend, so we're just gonna go over there a week before F1. No, it's like the 17th of next month. Yeah, it's before. No, sorry, the 14th. It's before F1 racing because I don't want to pick that up.
Why wouldn't that be a threat to a Walmart or an Amazon? The ability to just be able to click on something at OpenAI, at ChatGPT when you're searching for it to shop.
Sure, well, because Walmart and Amazon are big enough that they'll be able to
invest I told you that
as well with their own agentic commerce solutions. For instance,
Long on what? NQ?
Developed a solution called Sparky.
Not yet. Still got room to go down.
A long way to go, but still, that will be a competitive bot to the Open AI Chat GPT solution.
I don't know why I'm not shorting. I'm
So
just
we
too
think
scared.
Walmart will be able to compete because of that scale. And part of the equation here is that brands do like to sell direct, but no brand wants to be.
Hey, Google. For you, do no, for you, no, don't do 75. Wait for the challenge next week. Save that 75 for the challenge next week. You can't do 25. You YOLO too much. You can't do 25. You can't do 50. Do 100 or 150. 25 is not for you.
Sounds like you think it might drive. I mean, the bot might end up finding items.
Yeah, no, you don't. You blew that in like less than a day.
I need to be a member. I guess I should probably pay for the membership. That might be net positive for a Costco or even a Walmart.
You got nothing to trade, Gambit? You want something?
Beneficiaries that we identified in
You
our
sure?
report. The bot will be trained to find the lowest price.
You
That
sure?
could very well be one of the clubs, including BJ's Wholesale up here in the Northeast. But the bot will not be able to buy that if you're not a member, so it might prompt the human behind
Well, this chop is hard.
the membership to get that lower price. So at the very least, we think the clubs will be relatively insulated from this kind of impact.
For real, man.
Positive in that it could drive membership.
We're just scratching the surface, as I'm sure you are too. Look forward to more of your reports, and we can hopefully talk about them in the months to come. Michael, thanks. Michael Baker, D.A. Davidson.
I'm just doing social shopping. Like, that's just a thing. I know they've been working on
There's
that
the
forever
drop.
on Instagram. When we come back, Constellation Brands beating estimates, but with a twist. What the CEO said on the call this morning next. And a programming note, join me for Invest in America Forum. It's happening next week in Washington, D.C., October 15th. CNBC is hosting a first-of-its-kind gathering convening investors and policymakers and industry leaders, lots of great CEOs, for some critical conversations on American industrial policy, how businesses are doubling down right now on America. Go to cnbcevents.com/invest to learn more and to attend. We'll be right back.
Trend Tracker is sponsored by CME Group. CME Group, where risk meets opportunity.
Cebit, your company started here, but look at you now. Your small team has become a not-so-small team. It's time for CBIZ, accounting, advisory, insurance, and more. CBIZ, insights that impact.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Don't cancel or let your policy lapse without finding out what it's worth. Visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies, or call 1-800-523-6900. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
When it's time to start your business, it's time for Shopify. Designed with easy to customize themes, sell everywhere people shop, and never miss a sale with the world's best converting checkout. See why millions of businesses sell with Shopify. Start your free trial today.
When you're actively trading, the fees really start to add up. Public is the only platform that offers rebates on your option trades, which help offset those costs. It's a simple way to help me keep more of what I earn.
It's gone, right? You leave it here. Those made, those steal those stuff.
The year under 4,000 30 years ago. Yeah. At the end of the year, it finished about 5,000.
Celebrating 30 years of Squawk Box, weekdays 6 Eastern, and streaming on CNBC Plus.
The job search. It's so impersonal. Sometimes all you feel like is a walking resume. And the jobs you do find are just bad fit after bad fit. What's this? Indeed Career Scout, your personal career coach. Can it find jobs tailored to you? And help you get seen for all your skills?
Rich.
Well, the
Wait,
future
how
of
much
job
you need?
searching has
Oh, you got a long way to go. You need 9,000 on those. Yeah. A long way to go.
The horizon glows as it calls us.
just out of reach, where reality meets dreaming. So emboldened, we go. Because there's no time for cold feet.
Hockey is here. The breakaways, here. The Ovi goals, here. The Stanley Cup, yeah, you guessed it. It's here on ESPN.
Who?
Constellation Brands beating.
Oh, you know why.
Climbing after reporting earnings. Our Brandon Gomez listened to this morning's conference call, and he has some more color. Brandon, I guess it
He
could
did
be
good,
worse,
though.
is what the market is saying.
Hey, Sarah. Yeah, good morning. Analyst Nathan Sarwat at Bernstein winning best headline, I will say this morning, saying Constellation is, quote, nicely clearing a low bar.
Man, what's the name of that thing that you sent me? I can't
Revenue
find it.
$2.5 billion, both ahead of expectations. But the Corona and Modelo Brewer reiterated its lowered full-year guidance announced back
I'm
in
trying to
September.
find the name because I know I claimed the gift card, but I just don't know the name of it.
The source of pressure remains clear.
Harry, that's who it is.
The thing that has stood out for us is
Thank you.
80% of surveyed Hispanic and non-Hispanic consumers continue to express concern about the socioeconomic environment we face, and 70% of those are specifically concerned about their personal
I
finances.
just need a pump second short, but man.
Says the economy is the biggest driver for customers, not a larger shift in consumer drinking habits. Newlands defends growth with Gen Z, saying they're gravitating to product innovations like Sun Cruiser. Said there's minimal evidence on GLP-1 impact, but interestingly did say cannabis could be a threat to share of consumers' wallets. Bottom line here, Constellation
Look
is
at that drop.
cautiously optimistic.
Lowered,
It's at the
no,
bottom,
not lowered
and
yet.
leadership is in a wait-and-see phase to how socioeconomic conditions play out. Shares, though,
No,
down
I was in a
35%
short.
so far this year, Sarah.
Am I so scared of short?
And what about tariffs? Did we learn anything about whether they're getting worse and whether that's having an impact?
So they've been able
I need to go over
project
210. I'm gonna
lower
reach
guidance
short.
does take into effect,
216
those
actually.
And whether that's having an impact?
So they've been able to project, and again, part of that lower guidance does take into effect that tariff impact there. The largest part there being the steel and aluminum tariffs on those beer cans, not on the product itself that's coming over the border from Mexico.
Brandon, a rare bit of good news for Constellation. Obviously, it's been a tough year so far. It's our Brandon Gomez. When we come back, breaking inflation data out of the New York Fed after the break as Money Movers begins after.
Alright, bye. Good job, buddy. Later. Huh. Yeah, she's cool.
Gold delivers when markets don't. G Mining Ventures operates Brazil's
No.
most gold mine with proven reserves and cash flow.
I'll tell you more.
Now
This
they've
is
expanded
stupid.
to Guyana to repeat their success. G Mining Ventures, creating value.
As I
through
change your name and
responsible
stuff, right? So Jack did to Baby Bear, and then still talk to Q-Tip. What's the point?
At the Farmer's Dog, our fresh food plans keep dogs moving and shaking.
No matter what
I
kind
am
of home
going
you're
crazy. I
looking for,
cannot find
it's
it.
waiting for you on Redfin. And when you find it, see it before anyone else. Book a showing right now only on Redfin. Find your dream home on Redfin, powered by Rocket.
It won't be hard to find
Oh,
someone
it's
to
on
fix
the
this.
I
But before I started Angie's List, different story. A lot has changed for us at Angie since then, but the issues facing homeowners are the same. And the solution too, skilled local pros. Get started at Angie.com.
Dear Dr. K, I used to think I was never meant to be beautiful. I was teased because of my teeth. I didn't like the person looking back at me in the mirror. I never thought I could afford dental implants. You and your team worked within my budget and helped me feel confident in the plan we made together. I love my new smile. Thank you.
Congratulations, Cynthia.
Introducing our new lifetime warranty on zirconia arches, only at Clear Choice. Call
Yeah,
to schedule
man.
a free consultation.
Every morning, even before
We
the
ain't
market's
free
open,
anymore.
planning my moves that I make throughout the day. When you're actively trading, the fees really start to add up, and that eats directly into your potential returns. I found that Public is really the only platform that offers rebates on your option trades, which help offset those costs. For me, when it comes to investing, timing is everything, and Public allows me to get a step ahead.
With a shield-level annuity from Brighthouse Financial, your portfolio can benefit from growth potential with a level of protection from market volatility to help you follow your plans wherever they take you. Brighthouse Financial, build for what's ahead.
Weeknights.
I suggest a bifurcated portfolio where you put half of what you can save into an index fund. See, I'm not forsaking them.
Yes,
but
it is.
Goes into 5 stocks.
Mad Money, weeknight 6 Eastern and streaming on CNBC+.
Good Tuesday morning again. Welcome to Money Movers. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla live from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Today, with government data still on pause, now 7 days and counting, we will get a read on the consumer and the economy, this time coming from the New York Fed.
Massive single-day stock moves are becoming an everyday reality in this AI wave. But are cracks in the trade forming amid fears of an approaching
Come on, give me a good bounce. I can short. It's at the bottom now.
And watching shares of Amazon within striking distance of correction territory, down 10% from the high. Just what could give the stock a jolt heading into the holiday shopping season? We'll discuss.
S&P was going for 8 straight consecutive gains today. For the time being, that opening bid has gotten lost a touch, back to 67.32, 10-year pretty steady at 414. VIX a little bit elevated here at about 16.5. Let's begin with some breaking news out of the New York Fed. For that, we'll turn to Steve Leisman. Morning, Steve.
No, not at all.
New York Fed inflation expectations in their consumer expectations survey. The expectations are rising. Unemployment concerns are increasing. Here's the expectations for inflation 1 year out, up 0.2% to 3.4%. That's the highest since April 2025, around the time of the reciprocal tariffs. The 3-year unchanged at 3%. That is the 5th straight month right at that 3% level. The 5-year also at 3%. That's up 0.1%, the highest since May 2024. Inflation expectations increase for food, gas, medical care, and rent. Expectations for growth in food prices was the highest since March of 2023. On to the labor market. Earnings growth down 0.1%, or the expectations for earning growth to 2.4%. That's the 3rd straight decline and the lowest since May of 2021. Expectations for higher unemployment up 2 percentage points to 41.1%. 3rd increase in a row, highest since April 2025.
Oh, I found it.
Job loss, though, that expectation for job loss increased 0.4% to 14.9. 4th increase in a row, highest since April 2025. One positive thing, expectations for finding a job did go up by 2.5 points, but it's really a rebound from a series low. It remains near the pandemic low of that concern about finding a job if you lose one. Spending growth expectations declined 0.3% to 4.7%. And we just are getting some headlines here where Stephen Myron, the new Fed governor, talking about the idea the neutral rate is higher. He sees supply side policies from the Trump administration weighing down or reducing the idea of saying the Fed is really further from neutral because of the lower neutral rate. Sarah?
Yeah, how close do these inflation expectations track with the inflation numbers?
It's dropping.
Hopefully we'll get one next week. Let's see if we're still in shutdown.
They're not. They don't track right with it, Sarah. As you know, they kind of are something that precedes it a year ahead of time, depending upon what's going on. Very much, they're close to.
I wish I'd
prices,
drawn a short.
For gas prices.
Man.
The Fed is less concerned with the 1 and the 3 and more with the 5. At some point, Sarah, the Fed has to turn and look at itself and say, look, we've been stuck at 3% on the 5-year inflation outlook for a very long time here.
Looks like Cajun might be blown too because he's not shorting, he's longing.
That our real target is 3, not 2. That's a danger for the Fed that they're going to have to deal with at some point. Myron's saying he believes that rents are going to be coming down, and that's going to be something that will help shape inflation expectations. That's a big part of his call for more aggressive return to neutral by the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and he's been pushing this idea that the inflation changes, the immigration changes are going to be positive and put pressure on inflation.
Right.
All right, thank you, Steve. Steve Leisman. Also happening this hour, President Trump will meet with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Our Eamon Javers has what to expect.
Order submitted.
The president has has toned down the rhetoric around annexing Canada since he was last here.
Play the bounce.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. Relations between the United States and Canada have been sour all year, though.
15 minutes got room to drop way more. Just need to get the little bounce. No, I never got in.
There's no particular agenda.
I wanted a 225, it didn't hit. And
Other than solidifying some of the trade agreements that have been made throughout the course
I
of
know,
this year.
I'm just scared.
Also on the table for discussion today, energy.
But I'm waiting for the bounce to come up, and then I'll short, because 15 minutes
We're
ugly.
expected to have conversations about the global wars, including Gaza and Ukraine.
Order
and of course,
submitted.
we might see
You know, if it
a
dumps, a
wide-ranging
lot of people's
question
gonna
and
blow,
answer
because everybody
session
trying to
here,
buy the
where
dip.
The president could make news on any number of subjects. So we're
I'm
going to keep
short
our
on
eyes
the,
on
I'm
this.
long on the tournament now.
Indeed. Canada's
Dang.
been having their own
That
macro
drop.
issues, certainly regarding inflation and employment and housing. Eamon, look forward to more.
Both,
Eamon Jeffers
yeah.
outside the White House. Meantime, trade talks, labor market concerns, the government shutdown, just some of the cross currents complicating the picture for investors.
Order
Joining us here at
canceled.
Post 9 this morning with his outlook is Phil Camparelli,
Wow.
portfolio manager for JP Morgan
Order
Asset
filled.
Management. Phil, it's good to
Order
have you back.
submitted.
So we're going to kick off earnings later in the week. But in
Same
general,
here.
the thinking is that Q4, given where we are this far in the year, could be good. Maybe
Yeah, I'm not touching the funding.
Exactly, Carl. So we
Holy
definitely
shit.
believe it's an open environment to take risk on both
What?
sides of the 64.
I know, I just
The
missed
equity
a,
side
I
of
missed a
weight,
short.
lower of weight corporate
I
credit.
didn't
But
hit
think
my.
it's not enough to just say Fed easing without a recession. I think that's a lazy. I don't think that's enough.
Whoa, that's a huge drop. What the fuck?
The 10-year note. So last year, when the Federal Reserve cut
Oh
rates by
my
100,
God.
the 10-year note went up by
Sorry,
So
I'm about to
marking, September
blow this,
17th at
what is it, this
4.1%.
trade
That's where the 10-year
tournament.
was. Today it's
Damn.
like 4.14. That's really
That's a
important
huge
to us. So Goldman
drop.
Sachs has a financial conditions
I'm
index,
long,
as you know.
just like
That
you.
index is at the
Order canceled.
easiest point
Honey.
since 2022. You then extend that to
Oh my
interest
God.
rate volatility. So we love to talk about the VIX. The older, wiser, sage sibling of the VIX is the Move
Oh,
Index,
man.
which measures rate vol.
Order
and that's the
submitted.
Yeah,
lowest
that's
level since
daily payouts.
2021. And all of this is important as an asset allocator because we want bonds to protect us. And that's why we're
Why didn't we
order
short?
bonds can protect us. And again, that interest rate
Order
angst
filled.
that people had really leading
See, I
up to
caught
this
the
year,
bounce on that
the return on the
funded.
ag
Oh my
at the end of last year was negative over the last 3 years. So it was up to this year.
Yeah,
That
it's not gonna
angst
look good.
really kept people out of the market. And if the rate volatility cooperates, I think that opens up a lot of doors for investors.
Right. Although people are watching the long end of the Japan
No
curve,
news.
and if we, I don't know,
43 is
if
next
we
on the
got
drop.
above
Wow.
4.25, would you be calling it a breakout on the 10?
No, I don't think that's enough, Carl. So again, I'm marking it at 4.1. We think by the end of the year, the 10-year note should be between 4 and 4.5.
I'm over here looking for stakes. I need to focus.
I really have to have the transmission mechanism
Oh, man.
alive and well. In other words,
Yeah, I'm trying to use the gift card to buy a
financial
steak.
conditions tighten like what happened last year, and then that was kind of a sell-off.
Oh, your Chipotle is
in the
gone.
market. And then the other piece that I continue to point to is fiscal kicking in with monetary next year. We crunched the numbers. We think most Americans get a raise next year. So about 70%
But that taste of
households
Chicago
are
steak
getting
was
a
so
refund,
good.
and that refund goes from an average last year of about $3,000 a household to about $4,000 a household.
Ooh.
And I think that could really pave the way for the resilient consumer story and the earnings story into next
But
year.
also the inflation story.
Exactly. So that would be kind of the right tail risk.
It looks
that
like
keeps
someone
us
blew
up
that
at night,
account on the
Sarah,
Tradeday
is if the
tournament.
Federal Reserve
Hopefully
has to do an
mine
about
can get out
face,
alive.
become hawkish, and then ignite all of those kind of tensions with the market again into next year. But I agree.
You don't think the market would be okay with that, even if it were happening for the right reasons, like an economy that's really
Order
getting into high
submitted.
gear?
So nominal growth is important. Nominal growth is
Order
real GDP
canceled.
growth plus inflation. So Sarah,
Order
if we
submitted.
get 3% inflation
What's this
and
Fed
2.5
doing?
to 3% growth, I'll sign up for that. That's a 10+% earnings growth forecast for next year. And I really also believe that within CPI, Sarah, owner's
When
equivalent
I don't
rent
short, it
and
dumps.
shelter costs is the ultimate driver of CPI. And that's very different from what the Federal Reserve can control and what tariffs
Order
can
filled.
do to
Order
inflation.
filled.
So unless that shows a spike, I just think that the inflation story is going to remain tame into
Order
next year.
submitted.
And I'm fighting the
Explains
trend
the
now.
2-month low in home builders. To your earlier point about mortgage rates and the 10 not
I'm
going the
long
way you
on my
would expect.
funding.
Yeah. So I think
Order
there's
submitted.
upside risk for
Jeez.
housing next year. So you guys show all the time where mortgage rates are.
Ooh, let's check my puts. My QQQ puts is green. There you go.
Mortgage rates, home builders can kick in. I think you need to get below 6% on that, though. But that's, when you go back to February, and Secretary Bessent was talking about the priority for long-end rates. I think part of that is the housing market. So that can pose an upside risk.
I'll see you guys tomorrow on YouTube.